America. Hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita live stream of January the 27th, 2023. KranberriJam Draws Alita live, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek from Denver, Colorado. And with us today, we have KranberriJam. It's going to be a fun stream, I think. We're going to get to see her doodle on her tab. I guess it's on her tablet, right? KranberriJam?
Yeah,
or something like
tablet.
That? Yeah, cool. Also with us, we have Lee. He's from Fountain, Colorado, about, probably 80 miles south of my house here in Denver. So how's it going, Lee?
Going pretty good.
Cool. I thought you and your girlfriend were going to take off for the weekend or something.
We had planned on it, but unfortunately those plans fell through. None of the places that she was wanting to go to really had any availability, so we're going to settle
but
for...
She didn't get called... She didn't get called into work, did she?
No, she still got about 6 days off or so. So we settled for going down to an Irish pub down in Pueblo. Hang out there for a bit, look around town.
Yeah, Pueblo's a neat little town, or as the locals here call it, Pueblo. I don't know how they got that term, but that's what they say. Yeah, I think you probably heard that pronunciation, had you?
Not really, no. Oddly enough.
Well,
yeah.
I guess this is primarily a Denver thing, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Angelus with the short jokes.
Oh boy, I was kind of hoping Angelus would get on here so Kran could really give him some shit, you know. But anyway, that didn't happen. So it's going to be a short stream, he says. So anyway, how's it going there in Gastonia, Colorado? My ass, Gastonia, North Carolina. There, Kran.
Just fine. It's usual.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm going to be going back to North Carolina here probably I guess probably end of March or something like that. So going back for a couple of weeks at least. So maybe Kran and I and Rido and I can all have a beer at that nice little brewery place there. That's kind of like that place, So actually, it's kind of funny. I've only seen Lee one time, and I've seen Kran 4 or 5 times, and she's 1,500 miles from here. So anyway, but that's the way it. Okay, I guess we can go ahead and get going here. But before we get into Kran drawing Alita, and by the way, this is a commission she's doing for me too. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool what's going to happen here. So this is some real live stuff, as they would say, But anyway, here's Alita sequel petition, and I think there's a link down in the description down below here. But basically, if you haven't, I guess just about everybody on this stream has already signed it. But for those that watch the stream after it airs, I guess check the description down below, and if you haven't signed the petition, go sign it. I think we've been going anywhere from 70 to 90 signatures a week, so that's picked up a little bit because there for a while it was doing about maybe 30 or 40. So I think the trending event. There's Chaos Nova from Mentor, Ohio. How's it going there, Chaos?
Pretty well.
Nice. So anyway, just click on that link down below and go sign the petition if you haven't, because the more signatures we get, the more Disney's going to pay attention. Now, we've got a lot of signatures, obviously. I mean, and as I've said before, the Snyder Cut folks, they got 170,000, and that got them their Snyder Cut version of Justice League. But we've got more than that, so that's one positive thing that we can bank on here. Another one is Avatar: Way of Water, and I just checked this and the petition signatures just before the stream, And Avatar 2 has passed Avengers Infinity War on the list of the biggest grossing movies. So in about 6 weeks, Avatar 2 has made grossed over $2 billion. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, that's approaching $400 million a week.
It's a damn good film.
I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I highly recommend you go see it in 3D too. I bet it'd be good in any format, but 3D, you gotta see it in 3D. I mean, it'll knock your head off. How many times have you seen it, Cran?
3.
3 times.
I want to go at least once more.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it once more myself. I saw it about 2 weeks ago, I guess, maybe 3, and it was really good, really good. So, yeah, here's another cool thing that Lewis brings up is that the film actually created 1,500 jobs. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot. That's nice. So, and I guess a bunch of folks were saying hi, Cran, and all that kind of good stuff.
Hello.
So there you have, Cran. You got some of your fans are out there.
Yeah, pardon me. My eyes are. I almost said face. My eyes will be on another screen, so I might not be seeing. Just FYI.
Chaos Nova has put a link, or I put the link in the chat. So click on that, see what he's got doing. I briefly, because I had to get ready for this, but you did a stream here about an hour ago, didn't you, Chaos? Because I watched you play.
Yes, I did.
Memory in English.
Yes, I did. Have you gotten that to work yet, Creek? Or no, not quite. I mean,
nah, not really. I haven't gotten through it much, but because I had to get ready for doing this, but. I intend to go back and look at it some more, because I really enjoy you playing those games. It's not as good as an Alita sequel, but it's kind of like you're watching Alita. That's pretty cool.
Well, you technically are.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're watching Galley anyway, right? So, and then of course, Chaos. Let me put your Facebook.
So what I put down there is just for if you want to contact me and make a contribution to a future episode of mine.
Okay. So anyway, there's Chaos's Twitter, I guess that's your handle, isn't it? Radio Chaos 2 or
That's
something
true.
like that.
That's it.
And then here's his YouTube channel or his Facebook handle. So okay, before we get started here and watching Cran draw, and we're going to be talking about Alita while she's drawing it. Cran doesn't want us to just focus on her.
Please, pretty please.
She's getting nervous,
We'll silently stare at her drawing and judge her.
Ah!
Yeah, that's right.
Pure chaos then.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I see Angelus is out there in the chat, so that's pretty good. So is Lottie, So let me put the link in the chat too. I guess that way, if anybody wants to
come join us.
Yeah, come join us. Absolutely. Because I sent some out, but I can't get everybody at one whack. So anyway, there's the link. Just click on that, and I'll pull you into the stream, and you can chat with us. So anyway, I wanted to kind of go over some of Cran's past commissions, and I'm not going to go through all of her artwork and stuff like that because, quite frankly, Cran's kind of embarrassed about some of her artwork, so we won't go into all.
Every artist is, okay?
Ooh. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I guess that's kind of like making videos, although I don't recall making a video I'm embarrassed about because it's about a great subject. So anyway, here's some of Cran's past commissions. And here's one she did for Angelus. I think you folks have seen this a few times already, but there she is. She has just kicked the crap out of an android or another cyborg or something like that. And she's ready to take on the next comer, so and you did this for Angelus in 2020, I think, wasn't it? Something like that.
That might be 2019. I cannot remember.
Yeah. So Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, really. But anyway, that's pretty cool. I really like that because it's kind of got a combination of movie Alita to a degree and manga Alita, the
Yep.
way she's dressed and stuff like that. But it definitely looks like movie Alita in the face, you know.
That was
And,
part of the
and of
commission,
course,
is he wanted it like a mixed version.
yeah, that's right. And that address you see there, Deviant Art address, I don't think you use that too much anymore. You use the ArtStation address, but you can,
Mostly, but you know, you can find whenever I post art on Twitter, I have all the links on there to where you can
okay,
view the
so you
pieces
can,
publicly.
yeah, okay, cool. So anyway, that's one she did for our pal Angelus, who's at work, by the way. And then here's one she did for me, and I'm really proud of this thing. I'm proud of both of them she's done for me so far. But this one, this is her lifting 1,348 pounds, which is, I think, about 640 kilograms. And as you can see, she's not even straining. The bar's bent. It's so heavy, but she's not even straining, you know. And a funny story about this, I had a friend that looked at that painting, and the friend says, is that somebody you know, or what is that? Is that a? And I said, oh, that's a friend of mine. She came over and spent the night, and the next morning we had breakfast and we lifted weights. And he said, really, that doesn't look real. And I said, it isn't real. So anyway, then I explained to him, who this character was, and then that person went and watched the movie. You know,
I was about to say, he didn't leave your house without a copy, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. You know, and then of course I had to explain to him that she's actually, in kind of a pretend way, she's my niece. So anyway, that was pretty cool. But Kran did this for me. I think you did this in toward the end of 2020, I think, is when you did this. And I can't remember. There's a date.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, I know there's a date on there somewhere, and I think it's down the floor by her foot, but anyway, her left foot, it's somewhere down in there anyway. And if I zoomed in on it, which I can't really do with the StreamYard app here, but anyway, it's as I've said before, this is realistic. And my gym, inside my gym, does look like this, and those are my my resistance bands back there toward the back behind Alita. So but anyway, I got that sucker hanging up in my gym right now. So another one that Kran did for me, and the Kran, since you didn't have, this was a kind of a proof. I think this is not the final one, but I didn't want to put one up here without putting your ArtStation address up there. So I just put that in the upper right hand corner there so everybody knows. So anyway, this is Alita spotting me doing bench press, So she's you see, she's not even worried whether or not she could handle that kind of weight, because you see she just barely got her hands on it. And that's 335 pounds is what that is. And she's just no problem. I mean, Creek is not that strong, and I can lift this easy, So yeah, upper left, Angelus. Did I say upper right? Sometimes that dyslexia gets me. Although I'm not dyslexic, but it still gets me. So anyway, I get messed up on the stuff, So anyway, that I got that sucker hanging up in my gym as well. The final version. I think this was a intermediate kind of thing, wasn't it, Kran? Is that from what I remember?
That's a photo
I mean,
of
it's
the finished one.
yeah, that's right. It's still really
color.
Yeah, that's right. And those are really my those two columns you see there. Those are really what I have in my gym. And that you see that stand in the corner back there. I've got an adjustable set of dumbbells. It's one you can dial the weight you want. You can pick them up. I got two of them there, and you can see kind of that little. In the left-hand side there, you see like an orangish, yellowish looking band looking thing. That's a TRX, which you can you know, you could do stretching with and do some kind of pull-ups and stuff like that with it, you know, so it's pretty good, you know. So gosh, Angelus knows how to speak German. Look at that. Pretty cool. I didn't know Aussies knew how to speak German there, Angelus, but that's cool.
I didn't know Aussies could speak English.
Yeah, that's right. No, I sense another short joke coming up too on that. So anyway, and then here's one I think you did for Maxie. That's Adjicutty and Alita, you know, and they're back to back. Looks like they're posing or something. They're about to go into a competition or something like that, probably, you know. So
that was a piece for, forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe chapter 6 of his Flanfic.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Which, if you haven't read
anyway,
it, go read it.
Yes. And Lee's got a fanfic out there too, you know, so go read that. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if I put them in the description this time, but the last couple of weeks I put them in there. And no, Lee, I wasn't able to get to chapter 5 this week. I had a couple of things come up I couldn't ignore, so got kind of busy, you know.
It happens.
But yeah, but anyway, I'm reading Lee's too. I've already read Maxie's, and Maxie's was really good. I enjoyed that. And I'm reading Lee's fanfic right now, and it's really interesting how he's got that thing laid out. I mean, it's told from the perspective of not Alita. Alita's just an ancillary character, albeit a very important character in the
she
the
figures
story.
Prominently in the story, but she's not the main character.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And the main character is a guy named Jason Deshane, and he's kind of, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but just to entice you a little bit, he is a 21st century guy that gets transported up to the 26th century. And we'll leave it at that, you know, and it's his struggles and stuff like that he's going through. And I've only read the introduction in 4 chapters, or is it 5 chapters? The one with the clinic is chapter 5, I think.
If he just woke up in the clinic, that's chapter 4. But the program will count it as 5 because it counts the introduction too.
Yeah, that's right. So, but anyway, I highly recommend Lee's too, because I'm getting into it, you know, quite a bit. So
I'm just glad you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I mean, that couple of days there, I read like 2 chapters. You know, I mean, it's really good. So anyway, I'll put that link down in the description if it's not down there already, and you can go read that. And Maxie's, I'll put Maxie's down there too. So okay. Anyway, this is one that Cran did for Maxie. You know, Max Tack Dry, and he's really proud of that thing too, I think, you know. And then here's some shots. I guess you took. Cran did one of these for me, and I did a box opening video on it. But this is an Alita plushie, and this looks to be her tuned body, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, and I got that thing. She's right between my 2 Hot Toys Alitas, you know, that I have. So I got 3 Alitas there, and then I got a little Alita in front of that. And then down here where I do the stream and in my gym, I got 3 little Alitas. So I got Alitas everywhere. So I got
still
like
not
7
enough Alitas.
That's not enough Alitas. That's right. That's right. So anyway, Cran has really been doing a lot in the area of plushies, I think, lately, haven't you, Cran? How many of these commissions have you done for plushies?
The Alita specific ones?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Just
6 or 7, maybe?
Okay. Yeah. And how many plushies have you done overall of all characters?
Oh, Lord. Probably at least 20.
20? Okay, yeah. So she knows how to do this, and I know I got my plushie. I was really happy with it. You know, I mean, it's really cool. And oh, by the way, Cran, I got a special little surprise for you when I get the drawing from you in person. I got a little surprise I'm going to give you, so you know, you and Rhino can love watch that thing. It'll be pretty cool because you're always giving me surprises when I get something from you, you know. So I figured I'd reciprocate this time. So and it's going to be a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. Okay. So anyway, that's Kran's commissions. So now I guess we're going to let Kran share her screen while she's drawing, and then we can just have a general discussion about Alita. You know, one thing I guess I do want to talk about a little bit with Alita is, you know, for some time ago we had a stream with how we would fare in Alita's world. Remember, and I think the consensus was on that stream is that people living today, you know, particularly folks that maybe, you know, that are maybe just pretty much, they live in the city, they're used to having, you know, kind of public support systems and stuff like that. They wouldn't do that well in Alita's world, I think. And I think in Lee's, you know, a fanfic, it's very much kind of along par with what we talked about, you know, in that, you know, this guy, Jason DeShane, he gets teleported, or not teleported, but he goes through some kind of natural anomaly, kind of a temporal anomaly, and I'll leave it at that, that transports him up to the 26th century. And then this is a guy that's living in Washington, I assume near Seattle. I don't remember that too much. And now all of a sudden, he's in this, you know, post-war, post-interplanetary war kind of environment, which you can imagine it's would be a lot worse than, say, like a world war, because, like I say, it's between planets. And here he's found himself in this new environment, and he is not prepared at all. Plus, he also has some sort of mental, you know, issues he's having to deal with depression and
he's got depression and an
of,
anxiety disorder. Yeah.
And yeah, that's right. So anyway, if you remember, I don't know if you were on that stream or not, Lee, but you remember we talked about that folks that maybe were, you know, in
I think I do.
World,
Yeah, I think my own personal consensus was people from the inner city, based on what I've seen of what life is like there, probably wouldn't find much of a difference.
Yeah, yeah, especially in Zalem, they wouldn't, you know, because that's
well, not in Zalem. I
similar
mean,
to,
because inner city areas tend to be high poverty areas, very crime ridden.
yeah. So they would be very, very used to that kind of environment.
Yeah, so Iron City wouldn't be too much of a change for them, except it might be maybe a little more rundown in more areas than what they'd be used to. Because most cities today, they've got some areas that are higher scale, but Iron City pretty much it's all low end. Some are a little lower end.
But yes, but even I don't want to mention the booth up in Zalem.
Oh, the suicide booth.
Yeah, that booth, and the fact that it's talked about in Last Order how they take dead bodies and they recycle, build new babies in the tubes from the dead people's bodies. It's
pretty. It is. It's disgusting to say the least. I think we also talked about.
So basically, when you're an embryo in Zalem, you're being a cannibal because they're feeding you dead people's remains to grow your embryo.
So let green at a young age.
Yes. Kind of like Soylent Green. Remember that movie? That was.
I was thinking of The Matrix, but yeah, because that was what Morpheus was saying about that too.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking. The nutrient fluid they feed the people in The Matrix, where they liquefy the dead and feed them to the living.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, there's two bases there for, I guess, you know, that's in other sci-fi movies, you know, about cannibalism. I guess you could put it.
That's
Judge Dredd.
Dystopian thing.
In Judge Dredd, the meat is all made from humans.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, that's got some health problems associated with it too.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
particularly if those humans were sickly. And I think another thing we talked about is unless you had, I mean, if you were, I don't know how to phrase this, but if you weren't physically capable in some way, I mean, if you were, you know, kind of a, well, I'm going to use this term.
They have this idea about pure DNA. So if someone has like the mutation or cancer, they destroy you.
Yeah.
For not having pure.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the thing that kind of bothered me when I first saw the film. It's because, like, Destiny Nova doesn't care about genetic purity. His own child is a mutant.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Chaos is a mutant. He's got that ability to. He's got that psychometry thing going, doesn't he? And he inherited
He's basically it's funny because Chaos is essentially if you mixed Magneto and Xavier together, sort of.
Okay. Yeah, we also talked too about
the mentality that the character has and what he physically does. I mean, disassembling Zalem, that's kind of like what Magneto does.
Yes. You mean in Apocalypse, right? X-Men Apocalypse? He was kind of doing that in that movie too. He was disassembling the world basically.
and just how all the computer and electronic and metal was levitating around him in Volume 9.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that is very Magneto-esque, isn't it? Another thing I think we did talk about too was that if you were, and for lack of a better word, I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't mean anything by derision of it, but if you're a weakling, you know, if you're not very stout or you're, you know, you can't handle yourself in certain ways physically or something like that, you're not going to do well in the 26th century in Alita's world because people will take advantage of you. You'll have constant problems with people trying to, you know, rob you or harm you in other ways, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those survival of the fittest type things, I think is what that is, you know. You know, so like say, if you had some kind of physical ailment or something like that maybe, you know, robbed you of your strength or something like that, or you just weren't a very physical person, you know, you weren't very strong, you know, let's say, you're not going to do well in Zalem.
Or say you had both your legs removed, your arm lost, and you're stuck in a wheelchair. That's not going to go well for you either.
Yes. No, that's not. You're not going to do very well.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to work, so you won't be able to get food. And you're going to end up homeless in the street, and it's just going to go downhill from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the way it is. You know, I mean, that's the way the world was there, and that's very much in keeping, I guess, with what they, you know, post World War II Germany kind of went through a little bit of a phase like that. You know, where the folks, you know, they struggled, you know, because they were bombed and stuff like that. And the population struggled mightily. I mean, I can remember seeing films in high school.
Well, there are
that, and it was
actually
awful,
countries today that are still going through that. So it's a fairly common problem humanity's had throughout history, I think. When nations collapse, the people tend to suffer greatly. And sometimes
you can imagine
a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and in a world that's a post interplanetary war type situation like that, you know, you can imagine that this kind of an issue would be planet wide. It wouldn't just be in one country or two or whatever. It would be all over the place.
If you're talking about Alita's universe planet wide, there's not a whole lot left of the planet for it to be worried about, because humanity is just about on the edge of extinction, which carries its own problems. Basically, there's nobody else no other nation that can lend humanitarian aid. There's no other place to go, and nothing to fall back on. So,
yeah. So, you know, I guess on Mars it's a similar thing. Now, Mars has been terraformed, or to a degree. I think they had a big dome, you know, so it wasn't completely
looked like they had
terraformed.
some sort of high altitude or like some sort of orbital containment or something to keep the solar winds from stripping the atmosphere off. Because from what I understand, today the atmosphere on Mars is so thin because Mars has such a weak magnetic field, it doesn't shield it from the solar winds much. So the solar winds have eroded the atmosphere down.
Yeah, let me put on my former physics hat here. At
least that's what my understanding of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I majored in physics in college, and one of the courses I took was astronomy. And I know Mars is their atmosphere is 0.6% of our atmosphere in terms of pressure. So it's more like the moon than it is the Earth in that regard. So
it's surprising how visible it is, considering how little of it there is.
Yeah, that's right. So, but anyway, yeah, Mars, I guess they're in the same situation that Earth is in the 26th century in Alita's world, because I guess the ERM, I guess, released that planetary virus on Earth, and the Earth, kind of released some kind of cybernetic, kind of
nanoplague of some sort.
Nanoplague, yeah,
which was probably cooked up by Destiny Nova. Come to think of it.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Because he's big.
So both planets are both planets are in pretty sad shape in 26th century.
Well,
so you can see there that.
Well, I was just thinking, a thought I had, if since Mars was more recently terraformed, it might have had a smaller population. There is the possibility that Mars got completely wiped out and may even have fewer or even no survivors compared to Earth.
That's possible, and that's something we would love to see in a sequel, isn't it?
Yep. Maybe a little bit of
Alita's they don't go into it in the. Yeah, that's right. Because they don't go into that in the manga, do they? I mean, we don't have a clue about how.
Well, they don't until Martian Chronicles, I think. I mean, they give little hints. through Alita's flashbacks in Last Order, and I think to some degree in the other stories, but. Yeah, they don't give a lot of details until much later, or Kishiro doesn't give a lot of details until much later on.
Yeah. See, my personal opinion is I don't think life is wiped out on Mars, but I think it has been really brought to the brink of extinction itself. I mean, there's not a lot of Martians. If there are any, there's not a lot. They're probably in worse shape than Earth. I would say, just from reading the manga, and that kind of thing. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But you can imagine living on either planet. If of course, we don't live on Mars now. I guess Elon Musk is going to take care of that in the near future.
He's going to try to. I'm not sure how successful he'll be.
Yeah. Well, I've heard as early as 2025 he wanted to send some people to Mars.
I don't doubt he can send the people there. I just have my doubts about how well they're going to survive for an extended period of time there.
Yeah. So anyway, we might be closer than one would think, I mean, in terms of,
possibly,
but 2025 seems a little aggressive to me. I mean, I just, I don't know, it's, I mean, I might believe 2045. I might believe that, but, so anyway, we can have somebody on Mars, pretty soon. So, I mean, it kind of does bring, kind of does link us a little bit pretty well, doesn't it, to Alita's world. I mean, since Alita is a little girl, she grew up on Mars. Depending on which side of the story you want to go with. If you want to go by the manga, it's not a question of, she did grow up, but her origin is pretty freakish, I think, in the manga.
In the manga, yeah. I kind of have to. So, I sometimes find myself wondering why Kishiro went that route. I mean, did he do it just for shock value? Was he trying to say something specific with her origin, or was it just he thought it was an interesting idea and went with it? I mean, it just seems kind of
probably
a little out there for me.
He's an out there person.
I've gathered that. There was actually an interview recently, I think it was recently, where he was asked if he had any emotional connections to any of the characters in his story. He mentioned all of the villains, Destiny Nova and a couple of others. I was like, So he has emotional connections to his villains, not necessarily the heroes.
Well, he's got an emotional connection to Alita, doesn't he?
Well, he didn't mention her.
Wow.
Yeah, when he was asked that,
Like
he
she's
specifically said he specifically named off Destinova and a few other villains in the story, or people that I consider villains, like what the hell's that guy's name? The one with the tentative hair.
Aga. Oh,
the one who fights with Alita in the.
Well, it's not Zeka. Zeka fought. I guess Kran's boyfriend Zex.
Oh, maybe he wasn't.
So,
I thought he was on Alita's team. Maybe he wasn't.
What was his name?
Team.
he was.
Zeka? Zeka, no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't on
He wasn't on
he was on
Alita's
the
team.
opposing team.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He wasn't on Alita's team, but he did fight Zex, is what I was saying. Though that's and damn near beat him. I think Zex came out on top, but I guess the big guy Toji, I guess he kind of pulled him into a dimensional tunnel or something, took him off or something something like that. Anyway, yeah. All right, Kran is doing pretty good there, girl.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, looks good. I thought you said you weren't very good at this.
I'm not. Are you seeing how much I'm having to erase?
Well, yeah, but that's kind of normal, isn't it?
I mean, when you're sketching, but inking's difficult with this.
Well, when you're
I'm used to looking at the page, not like where my hand's at, and I can't do that with this.
Oh, because it seems to me that if you were drawing this on paper right now, you'd be erasing a lot, wouldn't you?
Well, I would have already had the sketch cleaned.
Ah, I see. So you kind of drew that, what you're tracing on right now, you kind of drew that, and how'd you import that into the app, or how'd you do that?
Oh, no, I drew it all on the computer. It's 100% digital.
Oh, okay. So is this what, a bitmap or a JPEG, or what is this?
No, I'm using the Krita application to draw all this.
Okay, so they got their own proprietary format, I guess, for this.
Yeah.
So,
but it'll get saved as a JPEG or a PNG, depending. Nerd talk.
Okay. Okay.
If this turns out good, I'll put it on t-shirts.
Oh yeah. By the way, that's another thing we can talk about too. Go to TeePublic and go to KranberriJam. You can get some t-shirts there. By the way, Kran, I'm thinking about, since my other Alita shirt, I got like 5 of them now. 2 of them are workout shirts, but when I first got it, I was just washing it and put it in the dryer, which is a mistake. Yeah, that's pretty cool there. But anyway, and it kind of dulled the picture a little bit, so I'm thinking about going back to TeePublic and ordering another purple, shirt and putting that weightlifting thing on there again, so. How does this compare to Paint?
Paint the program?
Yeah.
Very different. This is actually, really made for art. I can do different layers.
Yeah.
Paint, you're pretty much limited to 1 layer. I know they got new versions of Paint. I haven't really messed with them, so I can't say for sure.
Well, there's no reason for you to mess with it now, isn't it?
No, not with this. Okay.
Yeah. She's looking pretty good so far.
We're getting there. We'll see how far I get tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So anyway, back to how we would fare in Alita's world. Personally, I think if I was transported to Alita's world, I think I could adapt to it, but there'd be no fooling. It would be difficult. It would be.
Yeah.
Well, I think just about anybody could adapt to it. It's would probably be a lot of how used to you are that, or how used to that kind of what's the word?
Environment, or
how used you are to that kind of environment. Probably not the best way to put that.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, somebody
guess.
who's used to high poverty areas and high crime areas probably wouldn't see a lot of difference. Somebody who's had some experience with it, but maybe hasn't lived with a lot of it, would probably have some idea of how to better, start fitting in.
Yeah.
But somebody who's from like a high scale neighborhood, like the Hamptons or something like that, they'll get eaten alive.
You're literally lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, that would be that'd be bad for them. So
that's entertainment is what that is.
Yeah, it is. For those folks it would be too that were doing it. So they'd say, "Oh, good, we got an easy one here, let's take advantage of this one, It seems to me you'd have to be able to handle yourself. You wouldn't be able to depend on the police to help you.
Yeah,
you couldn't call 911. There is no police.
That's true. Even in the movieverse, I don't think there's any emergency services of any kind. It's either you can get yourself to medical services or you die.
Yeah. Yeah. And hunter warriors aren't going to help you. They're all about getting money, and doing that.
So I put that in that one chapter where Jason confronts that cyborg who's looks like he's trying to murder that guy. And Jason notes that there's one of the hunter warriors standing off the side watching because he's not getting paid for it. So he's going to watch the show.
Not to mention the fact he don't want to risk injury because that'll hamper his ability to make money. So,
it makes
because
sense.
that big cyborg might, injure him, and he don't want to, do that, so. Yeah, so it's going to be real interesting going into the next chapter there, which is, I guess, item 6 or chapter 5, however you want to look at it.
Well, it's supposed to be chapter 5, but the program's going to count it as 6. Because like the intro, I only wrote that just to give people a heads up of what the story was going to be about. So if they looked at the intro and said, well, it doesn't look like my kind of story, they could pass on it without trying to read through a bunch of stuff and then suddenly realize it's not my kind of story. So that's just the only reason the introduction was there. So it's counting it as a chapter. I don't.
Where do you post it?
It's on fanfiction.net.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Let me get.
I think Creek still got the link.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get that. Let me get the link.
Yes,
here.
please. So I can grab it while I'm thinking about it.
But Jason, of course, didn't have the same mindset because he comes from the old world and with his upbringing, considering his military service plus his Christian upbringing, he just couldn't bring himself to stand by and watch some guy get, possibly murdered. So he had to step in and do something. And of course, he paid for it.
Which is exact. Yeah, and that's exactly what you don't want to do in Iron City.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's one of the reasons Jason hates that place so much too. He's like, God, I can't stand this place.
Yeah, let me get this in the. Okay, and there it is. It's in the public chat. I'll put it in the private chat too.
Thank you.
So you can.
I already got the.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you say you're welcome in Japanese? I forgot.
Arigato.
Arigato. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Formally,
she's looking cute.
We're getting there. Hair was actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, hair's usually not too difficult unless you go into a lot of detail on it.
Oh Lord, and I do that. But I had told myself, Chibi, we're not going crazy.
Yeah. One of the things I did like about Lee's story, and when you read this, you'll pick it up, Crane, because I don't want to get too deep into it because it's, I don't want to spoil, but one of the things I found very interesting is that this character, Jason DeShane, he has this concept of Alita. He's been transported up to the 26th century, by a temporal anomaly. And there he is. He's not in Iron City. He's working at a farm, outside.
Yeah, he arrived outside of Iron.
Yeah,
he arrived outside of Zolem's territory. You find out in the first chapter he arrived out in the middle of, not out in the middle of the jungle, but close to the boundary of Zolem-controlled territory. So the first thing he runs into is this small farm. And
And
after he gets over the freak out of the giant space elevator out there, he realizes after a few days of hiding in the jungle that he can't stay there. He's got to do something to find food and stuff. So he sees the small farm. He sees that they've got people working there. He figures, maybe I can try and get a job. I've done that kind of work before. So then again, or once he gets in there, he gets over the shock of cyborgs and stuff and starts to do the best he can to fit in and do some work to make a living, as well as help out the people that are trying to survive there.
And another thing I thought was also cool about it was that, you know, eventually, for sure, since some of his compadres and the daughter of the guy that owns the farm, you know, the daughter, she's a big Alita fan, you know, because Alita's you know, a motorball star, you know, and she's all about wanting to see Alita play and stuff like that. And this guy says, nah, and he sees her and he just sees Alita as somebody that's killing cyborgs and stuff like that.
He doesn't, he knows that they're not being killed, but Jason looks at it, and for him, the brutality is reminiscent of the gladiatorial games of old Rome. And he takes a very dim view of it. So as a result, because the only thing he ever sees of Alita is what's being shown from Loretta, the daughter, he only sees her brutal side, the bloodthirsty side. So he ends up getting this picture of Alita in his head that she's a violent, bloodthirsty monster. And then he ends up meeting her.
Yeah. But anyway, he gets that thought about her. He has that preconceived notion about her. And then, of course, I'm not going to say how he meets her, but he finally does meet Alita. And his whole idea is kind of like when you meet somebody and you don't really know them and you have a preconceived notion of them, and then you get to know them. And it's like, wow, this person's not like that at all. You know,
this person's nothing like I thought they'd be.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and he kind of has that thought about Alita, you know, that she's okay, you know. He's surprised at how, since he's seen her, you know, on the motorball track, he's surprised that, you know, just how, I guess you would say, humane, I guess you could say, or
how human she is. She's a lot less of a monster than he expected. In fact, she doesn't exhibit any of the monstrous aspects he was building up in his mind.
Yeah. So anyway, that part I thought that was pretty cool. You know, I just saw it's like, oh crap, she's not like that. And it's funny when he meets her too. You know, it's like he's like, oh shit. You know, he's like, he thinks he's in big trouble. You know.
Yeah, and he wakes up in Ito's clinic, and he has no idea that she's Ito's adopted daughter. So he just thinks he's in this clinic, and he ends up. Alita happens to be assisting Ito with putting together the OR for Jason's operation to attach his arms and leg, or his arm and legs.
Yeah.
And he has his glasses on finally, because up until then he had lost his glasses. He got terrible eyesight. He couldn't see her well enough to recognize her. And suddenly he realizes who he's in the same room with, and combined with the trauma of just having his legs and arm ripped off by another cyborg, as well as his preconceived notions of Alita, he doesn't physically outwardly exhibit it, but inwardly he freaks out a bit.
Yeah. He's like, how the hell do I get out of here? That was his thoughts, I guess, you know. So, oh, Kran, I know what I wanted to ask you. I've actually written a short story about Alita in the Badlands, and how are you up for doing a voiceover?
Maybe we can talk about it sometime.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a voice actor. Fine. I'm pretty bad.
I don't know, Kran. You did pretty good on the couple of those things I did for you. You did for me, rather.
I'm bad.
Shorts, you know. No, you're not. Yeah, and what you did that one thing? What was that one thing you did with the Mars Chronicle? You know, where Alita's floating in space.
CG video thing.
Yeah, that's right. That was pretty cool. I like that. You know,
everyone else did way bigger of a job on that thing than I did.
You still did good, Kran. You did good. So anyway, Anyway, I'll let you read the script. We actually went over it on a previous stream. It was like a bedtime. Vladi said it was like a bedtime story, but it was a little more than that. I had some violence in it, So anyway, I think Vladi went, oh shit, didn't he leave? The way I described how Alita took out some mercenaries, it surprised him. I think Greek can write like that. So anyway, but anyway, I'll let you look at see what you think.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, I can give you some bucks on that too. So anyway, I enjoyed writing it, but it's nothing like Lee's story. Lee, what do you got? Like 20? You're working on chapter 24. Your story. So
I believe so. Yeah, mine's. I'm kind of stuck too because I'm at a point in the story where Alita has a certain idea of how best to help Jason survive, considering the kind of person he is, and Jason. He's got his own ideas about that. So the two of them are going to be having a difference of opinion. I'm trying not to.
They actually but actually, they're going to be friends. I think Alita and Jason, aren't they?
They start getting along a lot better. Yeah. I mean, Jason, Alita. I mean, she's got no problem with Jason. I mean, her first impression of him was. This guy comes in missing his legs and his arm, and he's lost an eye. And it was because he stood up to somebody who was trying to hurt or kill some other guy. He finds out he did it for a complete stranger. I mean, he risked his life trying to save somebody. So she doesn't necessarily have a bad impression of him.
Yeah, she actually respected him for that too.
I got the impression she would have some level of respect for him. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to go too much into it. So because it also being it's from Jason's point of view, he's not necessarily going to see how she thinks of him too much, except that she's civil. She's actually rather nice. And she actually helps Ito and Gerhard to some degree, taking care of him in her spare time, which helps to soften Jason's viewpoint of her as well.
Yeah, because Jason had a very negative viewpoint of her. Matter of fact, Loretta's trying to get him to go to the motorball match, and he's just
he
not
absolutely
having any of it,
refuses. She finally blackmails him into doing it, though, just by saying she'll go alone if she has to. And she and her father have a rule that you don't go anywhere alone at night in Iron City, and the rule is partly because of that's normal life. And also because I sort of drew on those strings of murders of young women in the movie.
Yeah.
And that happened some months ago. So that's another good reason that he doesn't allow his daughter to go alone. So Loretta says, well, I'm going to go whether you want to or not. And you can sit in the truck and stew. And Jason finally decides he doesn't want to have to explain to Henry,
to her father,
why he let her go alone at night in Iron City. So he says, "Fine, we'll go to the damn game."
Yeah, we'll go to the game. Damn it, yeah. So I'd probably like going to a motorball game. I think if I went, because I enjoy going to football games. I've been to a Bronco game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
when
I've been to some college games.
Jason and Alita do end up mentioning or get into a short discussion about motorball, and she finds out he doesn't like it very much, and it's because people are getting ripped apart. And she's like, well, it's motorball bodies are designed to be interchangeable. We're not really, nobody's really dying typically.
Yeah.
And Jason, he has a hard time because, well, in the manga especially, they just lopping heads off and stuff. But Jason has a very high level of empathy. And when he looks at motorball, he doesn't see just cyborgs tearing each other apart. He sees people tearing each other apart for the entertainment of the bloodthirsty crowd. The biggest problem he's got is the crowd seems so very into the destruction. He is repelled by the attitude of the fans, basically.
Kind of like people that go to NASCAR races that just really want to see the crashes.
Yeah, they just want to see a flaming wreck.
So, that's right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, in my part 2 of my story, I'm gonna reference Jason. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm gonna work that in.
Okay.
I got one character in my story named Demon Seeker. And he was
a
hunter warrior.
bounty. Yeah, he was a bounty hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a bounty hunter, and he spends a lot of time out in the Badlands. He's a American Indian type, and guess who that is like? So anyway, but anyway, yeah, who would that be?
No idea.
And, yeah, seriously.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't quite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, but I'm gonna, since he spends so much time in the Badlands, I'm gonna figure out a way to how he knows Jason, because in my story, Jason was actually in the Kansas bar when Alita, picked a fight with Zapan.
It's interesting you should mention that, because my first draft of the story actually had Jason in the vicinity when Ito carried Alita out of the Kansas bar after she got torn.
Oh.
That was the original version, but I decided to go ahead and go with the version where he just has no idea about her except for what he's seen from Loretta and the motorball clips that she's shown him.
Well, that's a really good story, the way you got it set up, So,
like I said, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I am very much. So, yeah, I'm going to work that in, because my character that's going to know Jason, he doesn't talk much, unlike the Creek.
The strong, silent type, basically.
Yeah. So he's actually anti-Creek is what he is. So anyway, but I'm having fun doing that. Now I haven't worked on it in the last week or so because I kind of got caught up in something. So, that's cool, Kran.
Yeah.
That's all right. I thought you said you weren't good at this.
I'm not.
Crap.
I've noticed Kran's got the same attitude towards her drawing that I've got towards my writing.
I think it's a creative thing.
Yeah. I mean, I always keep reminding myself I'm not really a writer, so I'm not really sure this is turning out well. And people enjoy it, so it must be doing something right.
You do it because you want to. Don't think what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. Yeah, I originally started writing it just because it was a way for me to maybe write something about Alita and also do a little bit of something about maybe highlighting what it's like living with mental illness. Because that's one of the big things that figures into Jason's whole thing is on top of the mental illness, he's dealing with terrible nightmares now that constantly wake him up. He's barely getting any sleep.
Funny you should mention that, because in my story, now I'm not a writer either, Kran, I can tell you that. I mean, I've developed course material, I do that, and I taught in college for a while and I know how to do that. But in terms of writing stories, I'm not. But it's fun doing it. Yeah, it's
I can't write worth of crap.
Well, I mean, writing. Oh, there's Maxie. Oh, Maxie, good day, mate.
Didn't take you long to pick me up, man. You must have your eyeball on the backstage.
Oh.
Well, I was watching Kran here, and it just pops up automatically, So,
caught him paying attention.
Cool. Yeah, that's right.
Morning, afternoon,
so anyway,
evening, night, all.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, and there goes my cyborg alarm. God damn it.
Oh no.
Oh, that's right. Maxie's a cyborg.
Yep.
Maxie's
time
a
for
1%
maintenance
cyborg.
It's telling me my blood sugar's hit the upper limit because I ate something.
Was it something yummy?
Vaguely.
A minor system malfunction.
Yeah. Well, maybe Doc Ito can take care of that for you there, Maxie.
There's a lag for the insulin to take effect, so it's
it takes a bit for it to get into the system.
But the food, my body just digests things like an insane rabbit. So it's just my blood sugar just shoots up.
Rabbits do. Well, I know a little bit about that. They. They do.
God, that's good.
Rabbits have to have a fast metabolism because they hump so much.
That is also true. And if
I
they
was,
ever
have
stop
you had any
digesting,
trouble?
they die.
At
Have you
Christmas
had any
time,
trouble
I
with
was
that,
up in
Fran?
Lismore, which is up in the north coast of New South Wales, up towards Queensland. And we went for a drive one day, went around the back of this mountain range called Nightcap National Park. We're on the back side of that, and we were visiting a what used to be my wife's great-grandfather's cattle ranch. We went up there to look at the old house that's still there, which is now a bed and breakfast and sort of glamping place. So we went up there, and there was a creek that her grandfather used to play in, and my son and my wife went down there, and they're like picking up interesting rocks and all that sort of thing because she's a rock hound. And there was these two big rabbits, like I'm talking big rabbits, like nearly 2 foot long.
Kind of like them big ass spiders you got there. In,
everything
Australia,
goes
right?
big in Australia. Can't help that. But there's these two big rabbits, and there was a white rabbit and a brown rabbit, and the brown rabbit tries to hump the white rabbit, and the white rabbit's like, nah, not into it. And then the white rabbit tries to hump the brown rabbit, and the brown rabbit's like, nah, I'm not into it. We realize they're both boys, and they're just horny. So
It's actually not that. It's a dominance thing.
All right.
Because even neutered rabbits will do it as a dominance.
They were fighting for dominance.
Yes, that's exactly what you were viewing.
But like they have fast metabolisms because they're always trying to get it on. Dear. That was a long story for a very short point. Oh. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
They're very.
Well, I know my dog. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they replicate. Oh my gosh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say part of the reason they, try to mate so often is, rodents. They are prey animals, but they also are insanely curious and will get themselves in trouble and get themselves killed very easily.
Wow.
They're both smart and dumb at the same time.
Sounds like it. Yeah, when I neutered, when we had my dog neutered when he was young, he still tried to hump, or he did hump the neighbor's dog. Even though he's neutered.
He was top dog.
And it wasn't a dominance thing either. This was a lab, that was a female. So I guess it didn't do anything to his. It didn't do anything to his sexual drive, I guess.
Apparently not.
So
theoretically, it should have.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think, but no, it didn't. He still had the urge, I guess.
Okay.
So anyway.
There we go. That looks better.
Our boy cat is our girl cat around, but he's been neutered most of his life, so he's got nowhere to go with it. He gets grumpy, but that's about it.
Yeah, I guess that thing about not getting laid has something to do with it, huh?
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway,
man.
that is good, Kran. Jesus. Kran's been saying she's not good at this. Max.
Yeah. Don't believe her.
Yeah.
Just like Max says, he's not a good writer.
Well, yeah.
Maxie's a good writer.
I was actually the reason that I tuned in and I was listening to what you were saying, and the reason I decided to jump on was this conversation about I write but I'm not a writer. Excuse me. That doesn't make sense. If you write, you are a writer. I'm sorry. You may not be a published
well, I'm just
writer,
not.
You're still a writer.
Yeah, that's right. So, well, I would say you and Lee are a lot better writer than I am. So anyway, but I enjoy. We were just talking
variations of writer, but you could be going.
The whole
you could
thing
be putting bad sentences together. You're still a writer.
Well, the thing of it is, it's like Kran was saying. If you enjoy it, I actually enjoyed writing that story. And trying to find some pictures. Some of the illustrations that would kind of go along with the story. To me, that was a fun part of it. And actually writing the situations that she was in, Alita was in, was also fun to me. So,
I find writing a lot of the time is like a patchwork quilt. You have these keynote scenes that have come into your head and you're like, that's really cool. I got to put that in a story somewhere. And you have all these scenes and you go, okay, now I got to turn it into a quilt / story, and you're trying to work out how all these scenes can become a narrative. And that's the hard part.
Yes.
Coming up with cool scenes and set pieces and stuff, easy peasy. You just go, oh, that would be really.
Yeah.
What if she jumped through the window and her window smashes everywhere and this and that and the other? Oh, that'd be really cool. Now, how the hell do I turn this into a narrative?
Yeah. I like that one scene where she kills those 4 in my story, though, where she kills those 4 mercenaries. I really tried to emulate the spirit, or keep to the spirit of the manga, because the manga is very much graphic like that, and and some of the things that the guy says to Alita, and Vladi says, "Oh, you don't talk to Alita that way."
Oh my.
Yes, okay, it's okay.
Well, speaking
okay,
of which,
Vladi,
when I was playing Martian Memory Live, Ed says that a lot when his hands hurt from his that brain issue he has. At least that's how they chose to translate it. It's not quite that way directly from Japanese, but the translator decided to get a little colorful in the language.
Say, Screen Masters created a wiki for Alita Battle Angel, so
I mean,
cool.
there already is for the regular Battle Angel wiki, and I'll link to that. There are articles for that.
Yeah. Well, we can still participate, though.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I didn't have any trouble. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Nothing wrong with different
anything we
versions.
can do.
Okay.
Oh, hell no. Yeah.
All right, Cricky, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So the sketch originally had her holding the name, but I think it looks better without it.
I agree with you.
Okay. Then the inks are done. Go ahead.
Yeah, how can you hold letters? You see, that's the thing.
Well, if they're made of wood and they're glued together.
Yeah, that would just be about it, though.
You can do anything you want in a drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Okay, then in which case?
But you see how pointed her chin is? Kind of,
What?
can you round that just a little bit? Her chin, down at the bottom down there.
Down here, you want it?
It's a little, kind of a little more rounded. I mean, I don't want it to be.
Have you not
totally
seen my art, the
round,
pointy chins?
Yeah.
That's not a
I
Kraken
like your art.
style.
Well, on second thought, leave it. Leave it. He's right. That's Kraken style.
What did he say?
I want Kraken style.
Well, hold on. Let's
He said it's
see.
Kraken style. So yeah,
Let's
that's
do a
fine.
little-
That's fine then.
Let's do a little thing here.
It's probably a little pointier than
That's
usual,
true.
I must admit, because I just went and looked at my 2 artworks that I've got sitting here proudly from Cranberry, and I don't think any of the chins are quite that pointy.
Well, you guys have maybe draw a little more realistically than my usual style, which is like 90s anime. Hold on.
Yeah.
Chins out to here, faces.
Yeah.
Chin is a registered weapon.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Oh man.
But
No pointy chin. I'm gonna work on this area a tiny bit.
no, you know what, Cran? I've changed my mind. You keep that pointy chin there because that is your style. That's what I really want.
I'm gonna mess with this though. But once I fix this, I think it'll be time for colors. Let's see. The one good thing about digital art, I can do this. Like take areas and
kind of expand on them or kind of manipulate them like that.
Yeah.
Everything in the area you can change slopes and stuff like that.
Yep. Very helpful.
Nice.
Done.
Well, you can't do that with paint.
No, once it's on there, it's on there.
It's on there. That's right.
Well, you say that, but like the Mona Lisa, God, who was the artist for that one again?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, he repainted that like 3 or 4 times over the top of the original, and did the mouth like 20, 30 times. Was never quite happy with it.
No, that's the difference between like acrylics and oils. You can actually always rework oils to a certain extent if you want to be nerdy about it. I don't like oils.
God, that's looking good.
I mean, it's kind of like editing and reworking your writing. You know, you write it and then you go, okay, that could be better. That could be said better.
Oh, it can always be. How many times did Tolkien redo The Hobbit?
It's not just that, Cran. The fact that Tolkien wasn't ever happy with the original Fellowship of the Ring, the publisher actually stole it from him and published it. He said, "This is going." Yeah, took it away from him, like nicked it and ran off with it and published it because the guy was never going to let it go. He was never happy with it.
I mean, I see that. I know, like Stephen King threw away his finished version of Carrie, and his wife got it out and said, "No, you're publishing this."
Well, Carrie's one of his better ones, actually.
Oh, I love Carrie. I have every version of the movie and everything.
There are a lot of people who have love and or hate relationships with Stephen King's writing.
Oh yeah, The Stand was absolutely awful.
Yeah, like some of it's great, some of it's boring, some of it's a laundry list.
But he writes.
I suppose if you throw enough shit at the wall, some of it's got to stick.
Exactly. I know he has a thing where he writes at least 1,000 words a day because if you don't practice your craft, you'll lose it.
Yeah, I need to fix that.
So even if you think you're not good at it, practice.
Well, you know, one of the things I was relating it to is also, that's real good, Grant.
That looks a lot better
I
now.
like that. Yeah, well, it looked good before, but I really like that.
That evened it out.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was kind of like liking it a little bit to doing videos because, you know, one of the things, you know, I do like 3 videos a week and I do the stream, you know, but like I just recently did a video where, you know, I used one of Mistress Malevolent's songs on it, you know, called Weird Woman, you know, and it's really good song. When I first heard it, I said, oh God, that'd be great for an Alita video, you know. And at the end of it, you know, I put Karula on the end of it, and the kind of the words was at the end of her song is, you know, she's going to drag you down to hell or something like that. And I you know, I did the video and everything. I was pleased with it, but after I put it, you know, kind of published it on YouTube and it got, you know, came into being and stuff like that, I thought, well, shit, it'd been nice if I'd had flames back there behind Karula, you know. You know, I thought about it after that, you know. So it's kind of like, I guess, you always think about ways you can do it better, don't you?
Always. All right, guys, I got to take a bio break. I will be right back.
All right.
Okay, no problem.
Well, a lot of times I've stopped writing stories because I don't think I'm good enough to write this yet, and I go on to other things and never get back to them.
Yeah.
I got one story that's been sitting there for like 15 years, maybe 16 years. Basically, the premise was, what would happen if an alien face hugger infested a werewolf? And that's the whole premise of the story. It's called Alien Moon, and basically it's a planet of werewolves. They've like they're being hidden by the military, who's using them as special forces operatives. They're taking a tithe of the werewolf youths to join their special forces. But in return, they're protecting the planet so that the general population doesn't go there. And I was
tying one of James Cameron's aliens. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
that face thing and that.
Yeah, okay. But I'm basing it after Alien Resurrection, and it's got Call in it. You know, the android played by what was her name? She was in Stranger Things as the mother. I
never saw that. I should probably start watching it.
It's pretty good. Well, at least the first 3 seasons were pretty good. I didn't really get into the most recent season. What's her name? Or maybe it won't. Winona Ryder.
Oh yeah.
So Winona Ryder played Call in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, Resurrection.
And was a really interesting character because she was one of the banned androids that everybody was supposed to destroy on sight. But they were because they'd formed a rebellion. Her character was really quite interesting. I actually liked a lot of Alien Resurrection. I mean, the alien, white alien baby, weird baby thing that Joss Whedon came up with for the end of it was a bit weird. But other than that, it was a pretty good story, and it hung together pretty well as well. So, and the soundtrack's fantastic. But I was sort of basing it after that, and I was linking it with her character. Still, doing undercover ops things, and she was going to end up going down to this planet, and the planet has 2 moons, and when they're both full at the same time, the werewolves go absolutely spastic, and the alien has werewolf DNA in it, so you can imagine the ideas that I had. But
holy shit!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I never got around to writing it because I never thought I could do it justice with my writing talent, as it were, and I really should get back to it at some point.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, you ought to get back to chapter 11 too. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Fair enough. No, I owe you a chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling Lee, that I actually got, when I had time, what was it, Lee? I read like 3 chapters in 2 days or something like that of Lee's, and I said, man, this is great, and then I got caught up in stuff this week, and I couldn't get back to it. So.
Well, I am certainly glad the story's engaging.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really good. So.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of reading these days. I do a lot of listening. So I'm like doing other things while I'm listening to
anime and stuff. You mean on the?
Oh no, listening to audio versions of light novels. Hey, Angels. So I'll be like repairing something or painting something or doing housework or something.
Or on the
driving or on the treadmill or whatever, and listening to an audiobook. So that way I get my reading in and my stories in.
Yeah.
But I'm also doing other stuff at the same time.
God, Kran, that is good. Shit.
Oh, by the way, I'm back.
It's kind of hard to sit down and spend the time reading a book.
I've been making an hour every night to read something. I have to.
I listen. I've been listening to this massively long web novel called I Was Caught Up in a Hero Summoning, but the World Was at Peace. And this it's about this guy that ends up being dragged into this other world, and initially they say he's stuck there for a year. But while he's wandering around, he ends up getting called the Singularity because this world is like maybe 70-75% female. Like there's a lot more women than men, and it has these really powerful, I'll call them entities, because some of them are from other worlds that have ended up there. And some of them are like there's the demon realm, the human realm, and the god realm, and there was wars between them, but they managed to sort their shit out, and now they mostly get along. But it turns out that the god who created the world is actually a destroyer who, after destroying millions, no, probably billions of worlds, went, oh, wonder why all these creator gods have actually created these worlds in the first place. Maybe I'll create one and see what it's like. So you've got this god, Shallow Vernal is her name, and she's the creator god, but she's actually a destroyer of realities. And you find that out later on. Yeah, she has this power called Epilogue, and she can basically end anything.
Christ.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's super powerful. She's called an outlier god. She just rocks up and everything dies, everything ends, and she actually has the power through this epilogue. Epilogue is linked to another power called prologue, and whenever you use epilogue to end something, you can actually reincarnate it using prologue and modify it. I think this is the writer sort of putting his creative process into the story. And there was this one god called Nebula, and not the one from Guardians of the Galaxy. But this god didn't create a world of her own, but she basically fought and subjugated hundreds of creator gods and took over all these realities in the multiverse. And she was running all, but she's actually quite nice. She only fought these gods because she didn't think they were doing a good enough job and treating the people nicely enough. So she was controlling all these things. And then Shallow Vernal rocked up to one of her creator gods' realities, ready to end it. And Nebula decided to transport all the living creatures and that god to another reality, like help them escape, and then stood in their place to face Shallow Vernal, knowing that she would get her herself ended. And that was why Shallow Vernal decided she wanted to understand what was so interesting about creating a world, because this god, who was probably the second most powerful god compared to her, decided to stand up to her, and you stood up to her knowing she would die. And so she ends up reincarnating this god and making her a spirit living in this thing called World Tree that was in the front yard of this guy's place, the guy who was the Singularity, the main character, and made her his watchdog, because this god Shallow Vernal has fallen in love with the main character. But then so have all these other really powerful women. And it's a comedy romance isekai. It's really quite amusing, although I've listened to probably 200 plus hours of it now. So I'm kind of getting a bit over the story. Actually on the very last one that's available in English at the moment. It's, lots of it has been really quite interesting. But the writer's actually dragging things out a little bit now. So these things happen.
Yeah, it's looking good, Kran.
Working on it.
Yeah, it's kind of what. I'm sorry?
Trying to get the color right.
Yeah, it's kind of like that guy, Maxie, you were talking about that god Nebula, I guess, that it was kind of like that guy that was in Ghost Rider 2. The devil gave him the power to decompose stuff. He just touch it, and it just starts decomposing, And it's funny, they had a scene that was really funny in that, where he's driving his truck, and he picks up this Twinkie.
Oh no!
He can't decompose it
because it's already.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Believe it or
really
not,
funny,
Twinkies can go bad.
Yeah, but it was really funny the way they did it. I mean, it's like he looked at it. He's like almost like he laughed. And he started eating it.
Well, there's that urban myth about the guy who bought a cheeseburger and sat it on top of his PC at work and just left it there, and it just never changed. It just.
Are you talking about the McDonald's burger? Because that is true.
It had so many preservatives in it that it just did not decompose. It just sat there. Jesus. And turned to stone.
Well, technically, if you have like a really, really environment that's incredibly devoid of any humidity, stuff can get pretty hard.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if it was an air-conditioned office, they're usually pretty dry, the air. So.
Cran, you
I
don't
think
have a
you also
tool
have
there
a
that you can.
dehumidifier running because where I maybe it's how my house is heated, but for me it's the heater that takes humidity away.
Well, I do know
Cran,
that,
you don't.
like
You
it's
don't.
Australia. It's Australia, so down here at the moment it's proper summer.
Okay.
Hot and steamy, but the aircon actually dries the air out.
Okay.
The cat food
Yeah.
goes all dry and crunchy after a few hours.
Oh, I
I'm
bet
just
the
saying I
cats
have to
love
run
that shit.
humidifiers like all the time, or else the humidity is gone in this house. Maybe it's living on the lake in the north or something.
Cran, I was going to ask you. You don't have a tool that you can just fill everything with a color like in paint between lines.
She's got gaps.
Yeah, that right there, that'll stop
Yeah.
it. Also,
No, I mean her entire face. I mean, you can just click, right click on one color and then click on
I've
the
messed
tool that
with it
just
in here,
fills.
and I can't make it look good. Like if I did a section,
Oh,
it
okay.
actually has a line of miscoloration around it. So that's something
Oh,
I haven't
okay, yeah.
figured out yet. Plus,
I was
honestly,
just curious.
I kind of enjoy doing this. This is kind of fun.
Okay, no, that's cool. Yeah, I was just curious. That's all. I mean, I
I'm
don't
still
wanna
learning
tell
this
you how to do
program.
this.
Well, if you
Photoshop,
can,
yes.
if you can convince Cran to actually color panels from the manga, you know that she likes coloring things in.
Coloring's my favorite.
My son hates it. She hates having to keep inside the lines.
I mean, he doesn't have to.
True.
Yeah.
But people seem to expect it with coloring.
I mean, I do because this is going to be on a t-shirt and stuff, but there's just something about not caring about being out like this. It's just satisfying.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of like squeezing a stress ball. Huh?
A little bit.
Hey, Lee, are you there?
Yep.
Could you imagine attempting to write something while this conversation is going on? Like artists can draw and talk at the same time. Trying to write and talk, it just would not work.
Sometimes I've managed it, actually.
Really?
Not very often, but sometimes.
Wow. Parallel thinking.
There have been times where people try to talk to me while I'm drawing. I'm like, shush. Especially if I'm like on an actual like real traditional piece and I'm doing the real fine inking, you cannot disturb me.
Mm-hmm.
I am
100%. And somebody asks you, Cran, do you have a tool that can do so and so? If you said hush right then, I'd have been okay with it.
Part of the reason I did a simpler thing is so I can, talk and stuff as I'm getting comfortable with this program. Okay.
Damn, that's pretty cool. I got Paint Shop Pro. I haven't really played with it too much, but it looks like nothing as good as this, though. Looks like you got a lot more tools to work with there than.
Yeah, that's part of the difference. Just it might have got that pretty close.
Yeah. Oh,
Different
that's going to be the
programs do
color of
different
her.
things.
The color of her coat, I guess. There.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it a little more yellow.
Yeah.
Angela, so I was just checking up on that anime, The Future Diary. It's from 2011.
Mirai Nikki?
Oh, you mean what he's saying? You guys know what this is? Is that the one?
Wait. Oh, Lord, not that anime.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, I love it. But if you don't know what you're getting into.
Oh, look,
that's
it's
good
anime.
right
You've
there.
got to be prepared for the landmines.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
anyone's
that's pretty
listening
good.
and not sure that is not the right color. The one of the main characters is a yandere, so word of warning. If that's not your thing.
Now, what's the difference between Yandere and some of the others, Maxie? You explained this to me once before, but I forgot.
That's a whole can of worms.
There's Sundre and
there's sort of, well, Dre means loving and Sun means sort of antagonistic. So, but generally, a tsundere is a person who can't admit to their own feelings. They tend to either misdirect, avoid, or tease the person that they care about.
Okay.
Which would to a normal person who's normalized their feelings and their way that they communicate to the person or people they care about would seem to be sort of going against the point. But you know, it's the old classic of the person in the playground who picks on the person they like, or when they're confronted with somebody saying, "Do you like this person?" they'll run away, or they'll get horribly embarrassed and fall over or what have you. They can't admit to their own feelings. So the sun part is the reacting negatively towards the idea of being attracted to the person, but the Dre part is that they actually they do have loving feelings towards somebody. They just can't express it in a functional, normal manner.
Damn, that's looking good, Kran.
There we go. Love you.
And a yandere is the one where I love you so much that if you even talk to another person of the opposite sex, I will have to kill you or kill them or kill both of you. The violence is very close to the surface, just underneath the veneer of normality.
I love yanderes.
They can be amusing. I just don't want any yanderes poking me with a knife. and then there's
that's right.
And then there's the kundere, which is the girl that doesn't seem to show much emotion, but has a lot of emotion hiding underneath this sort of veneer of cool, calm, and collected. Perfect example is a show called Date Live. In the first season, there's a character whose name is Origami Tachibana, and she's like sort of silver blonde beauty who, you know, is the quiet in the class and you know, seems to follow all the rules, and she's working on the good guy's side and all this sort of thing. But as soon as she starts interacting with the guy she's interested in, it gets really weird really quickly, and she's always trying to get him into bed. He was trying to put her off, and he says things like, "Oh yeah, and I was sniffing your used gym clothes," and she goes, "Yeah, I was doing the same to you."
Ooh.
and he's like, "What?" Because he was trying to gross her out, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm totally on that page, dude. I'm doing the same thing."
God, we have even more in common.
Yeah.
I love it.
But that's a kundere, which is like they look cool, calm, and collected, and mature and normal until you hit that button, and then suddenly it's all rails. There's no rails.
All bets are off. Huh? Yeah.
But they're fun. They're sort of character sort of tropes. They're not, you know, fixed. All kunderes aren't exactly like that, and all tsunderes aren't exactly a particular way. But they're sort of, if there was a continuum of sort of character, there'd be zones along that continuum. They're not a specific point, so there's a bit of variation there. But it's roughly that sort of a description. But there's actually 9 or something. I mean, there's the big 3. But there's a whole bunch of other smaller ones.
Oh, and they keep making new ones. That is like, oh, it's exactly this, except this one different personality trait or something.
Now, these ain't just applied to the girls, don't they?
Oh, no. You can have a male tsundere. No worries.
Oh,
happens
okay.
quite regularly.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, this is shaping up, Kran.
We're getting there. Now, when you have like BL stories, you know, boys love and things like that, there's deres all over that I'm probably the only one here who's read any of that, so there you go.
Yep, you are.
I haven't specifically read any of that, but I've seen a lot of female characters who are into that in certain animes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen Gate, but there's a character named Midori who's the bodyguard of the main character in that, and she's an absolute BL maniac. And the brother of the Empress, who's the head of the armies, he's gay, and he's totally into it too. And they have all these big rambling conversations about BL, and she's actually sharing her BL magazines and stuff with him. And she's always trying to ship him with the main character who's straight.
Mm-hmm.
Kran, I noticed you can change the size of that brush easily.
Oh
What do
yeah,
you do?
because
Hit,
it's
like control.
nope, it's pressure sensitive pen. So depending on
Wow.
how
Or you push on it, huh?
Yep.
God almighty.
What about Steins Gate Angels? Awesome anime, by the way.
Love Steins Gate.
Yeah. Love me some Steins Gate. I need to watch Robotics Notes sometime.
I watched it years ago. It's not nearly as good.
I wouldn't have thought so. It's very hard to put something in the same world and have it have the same impact.
By the way, Kran, I meant to ask you when you did that doodle stream you did some months ago, that character you have on the right there, the one with the green hair and the two ears, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like that thing kind of lit up, and every time you talked, how did you do that? Do you have like Streamlabs or
OBS,
what?
yeah.
OBS or what?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still working on getting
So
all
you
that
can
set up too again.
Yeah, I'm about to do some setup on my stuff here. God, that is cool how you do that. Of course, that was just a Control Z type function you did.
Oh yeah,
but,
my tablet
undo.
has a undo button that I abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. You abuse it, huh?
Yep.
God damn, Kran, that is really good. Jesus.
This is the easy part.
See, I don't know. I'm totally ignorant of this stuff right here. I used to have a tool I used called Photoshop. I don't know if you ever heard. That's an old tool where you could do color replacement with it.
Oh yeah,
You know, you have one color.
I have Photoshop too.
I tell you one thing, I am going to start doing. My two nephews and I are going to start working on this one project, and I'm going to start playing with Unreal Engine. You know, that's you know, because we want to do a game type thing. You know, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I said, well, can we put Alita in this game? And they said, well, not unless we want to buy the rights.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
I can't do anything like 3D rendering. Ugh, it's beyond me.
Well, I tried playing with Blender one time. God almighty, that thing's got a steep learning curve, boy. Holy moly. I played with that thing. The best I could do was import a picture into it, and I couldn't figure out how to make it more 3D, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really, I mean, just looking at the tools, it looks like there's you have a lot of capability with it, you know, and these people on YouTube, they have these tutorials, you know, you can do, you know, holy mackerel. It's amazing, you know. God, that is really cool, Kran.
It's like any, you know, program or any craft, I guess. You have to learn it.
You know, there's a YouTube channel called Melody Sheep. I don't know if you guys have ever, I've spoken about it before, but they do really professional looking productions, you know, and it's a kind of a science type channel type thing where they can put together like alien environments, you know, and it looks realistic, you know. And they I think they did that with Unreal Engine. So
They just make a
yeah, I haven't really played with it. Yeah, landscapes, but you can put characters in it and stuff like that too. Oh yeah, you're gonna make her look like yeah.
Yeah, I like her red eyes.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one who does.
Well, we're gonna use Kran's style here. That's cool. Yeah, we were talking about other stuff, and then we got captivated by you doing this, Kran. I know you didn't want us to do this, but here we are. So, one thing I was going to mention too about, yeah, one thing I was going to mention about my story. You know, I'm gonna do a part 2 of my story. You know, but basically, what it is, Kran, is there's some dialogue in it. You know, that's why I was asking you about if you would do a voiceover. You know, but it's got some dialogue in it. So, yeah, it's part of that 10-year, you know, kind of a period where, you know, she's out in the Badlands. You know, Maxie's already admonished me about letting Lou be being Alita's controller, because it's way before that, you know. So anyway, he's already admonished me about that. Yeah,
well, you know, you got to have a space for a truck to drive through the plot somewhere.
Yeah, I guess so. You know.
Damn.
Yes.
That was harsh.
Well, most people do end up with a truck-sized hole in their plot somewhere.
I know I'm probably somewhere too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've already explained it, Maxie, how this
plotting and internal consistency is hard. It really is. Trying to keep everything straight, especially if your story gets long, it's really, really hard.
Yeah, I've been using a program called Campfire to try and keep track of everything I've done.
What does that program do? I've never heard of it.
It allows you to upload pictures for characters, maps, stuff like that. I even got a timeline that I've kept track of each chapter, what's been going on in it.
That's helpful.
Oh, I have a chapter summary, but you know,
yeah, but as
I thrive on internal consistency, but it's one of the hardest things in the world to try and maintain.
Yeah, even with all the extra help and the keeping notes on what's happened in each chapter with the timeline and everything, I still, the more stuff piles up, the more it takes to keep it all straight.
Especially if you like to be complicated in your storytelling. Like
I am trying very hard not to be too complicated, and it's still ending up a little on the complicated side.
Part of the fun of being a writer is foreshadowing and dropping hints and having sort of stuff going on at another level that's not explicit within the story, that people can start figuring out if they're really into it and they think about it a bit. That's always fun.
When you're done, I got one for you. You just reminded me of something. Has anyone read the novel A Kiss Before Dying?
I've heard of it.
Oh, I've heard of it, but not read it.
I don't want to say anything. There's a movie based on it. Don't watch the movie. Read the book first. And there's a point where they reveal something. I literally sat back, looked at the book, closed it, went, no fucking way. This author did not just do what they just did, and went back on, like, I flipped through the whole rest of the book. I'm like, motherfucker, this guy is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't reveal what it is, but it was like, it took like 200 pages before I realized.
That's one of the most enjoyable parts about being a writer, is to sneak something like that in there and have like 0.1% of people work it out and just go, oh my God, that is so cool.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, the majority of surface readers just don't have a clue about it.
No, it's absolutely brilliant. I've never read a book that has slapped me in the face harder with that. Like, you really did this, and I didn't catch on, and slightly angry at myself, but also you are brilliant.
You have to, when you're writing, you have to think, okay, what level am I going to pitch this interesting thing hidden in the background at? I've read books that I had no clue what the hell was going on right up until the very last minute. And I've had other books that I've read, and you read the setup, and obviously this writer was thinking that the lowest common denominator was pretty damn low, because I read like the first 2 chapters of the book and went, oh yeah, it was this guy. This is the guy who did it. And that was the guy who did it. It was just way too freaking obvious.
That's 80s horror movies.
Mm. This is actually, a fantasy novel about dwarves in a world that didn't have a lot of like, most of it was just like either low grass or fungus or lichen. There wasn't a lot of large plants in this world at all, so they were sort of marching across these fens most of the time.
Yeah.
But they had this conversation in the beginning. I go, I bet you it's this guy. Yeah, I read another 200 pages to find out. Yep, it was that guy.
It was not a red herring.
Well, I know one thing, Maxie, you and Lee's ability to write is you all are more professional than I am. That's for sure.
Professional basically means you get paid for it. So it doesn't matter how good a writer you are.
Well,
if you're getting paid for it, you're a professional.
Then.
And being paid for it doesn't talk about your level of skill. There's plenty of really bad paid authors out there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Thinking maybe I should get into dinosaur porn. It seems to be one of those niches.
There is a manga.
That's an interesting jump a subject.
Yeah, what the hell? There's dinosaur porn? Seriously?
Yeah.
There is a manga called My
Holy
Girlfriend is a
shit.
T-Rex.
God damn.
I hesitate to ask.
There are some very suspect niches on Amazon. One of which is hot and juicy stuff with women and dinosaurs.
All righty then.
Good God. Yeah.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
How are you supposed to try it? You have to go back 65 million years.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is one of those things that I am perfectly comfortable not trying.
Not doing. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you could go and hit up on what are those big lizards on that island?
Komodo dragons.
Komodo dragons. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I no.
They're the ones with the toxic saliva.
Yes.
That basically they bite a cow and then just wait for it to keel over and die from
was it Komodo dragons or Gila monsters?
Them too. Gila monsters, you find them in them damn in Arizona and West Texas,
so it's probably the
and
Komodo
Mexico.
dragons then.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. My stepfather, he was a pilot in World War II, and he got shot down one time, and he crash landed on one of those islands where the Komodo dragons were, and he had to stay in his plane. He had a pistol, but he couldn't shoot him because he was afraid if he fired his weapon, the Japanese would find him, and they would come and get him, So what he did was he took the barrel, the butt of his pistol, and he just banged it against the plane to try to scare them off.
They weren't having it, were they?
I think it worked to a degree, but anyway, he got rescued before it became a real problem, I guess.
Oh, that's good.
So,
I think it was a real problem to start with, really.
yes.
All he'd have to do is cop one bite, and
and you're done.
Well, you're not done yet, but you're on your way out. It won't be pleasant way to go either. Septic shock.
Ugh.
Damn, Krant, this is looking good.
We're getting
I'm
there.
amazed at how fast you're doing this, though. If I was to attempt something like this, it would take me a couple of months, probably.
I mean, I can't say much. I do sometimes take a long. Oh, wrong way. too long on pieces if they're way too complicated. I got a commission coming up that's going to take me forever.
Funny story, I've just posted a Facebook Marketplace listing for a 2 meter, that's 6 foot tall teddy bear.
Jeez.
Was that from a fair or something?
Oh, Lord. Actually, somebody threw it out on the side of the road. It was almost pristine condition, but obviously it was way too big for them. There's always somebody whose love is so large that they've got to give a bear that's taller than they are. So
Oh my gosh.
we figured we could probably sell it for $50 or $60.
I'll give
Just
it a
need a little bit
shot.
of sewing up. But it's currently occupying my son's bed. He's been sleeping. He's been sleeping on the couch.
What?
Oh shit! You're not going to get rid of that thing. Then he's going to want to keep it.
Oh, he does want to keep it, but basically we told him that it's got to go.
We're not buying a bed for
It's
your teddy
family.
bear.
Family income. Jeez.
I'll share screen
God,
and show
Tran,
you how big
Jesus.
the bloody
Yeah, I want to
thing
see how big this thing is, please.
This is it sitting on our queen size bed. You'll have to pick up the share, Creaky.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap!
Well, it's 6 foot or 2 meters long, and it's a meter wide.
1.8 meters.
Oh my gosh. You could put human sized clothes on that thing.
It's taller than I am, and I had to carry it around.
Do you get looks?
Oh yeah. I actually saw it on the side of the road, and I said, the wife said, "Oh, pick that up. It's going to be worth something." I'm like, "Nah, leave it there. It's too big." And then she sent me back for it after dark, and I thought, "Oh, I'll go and pick it up after dark. That's all right."
I was gonna say, if you had the sword, you should totally have it holding the sword. That'd be hilarious. Oh my gosh. Who buys this?
Who's the chick?
Crazy.
Oh,
these are stock images.
Yeah.
I do have a
That's
photo of him with the remote control in his hand.
Yes.
I'm just sitting there watching the telly. But that's a queen size bed, and he's stretched nearly across the entire thing.
Oh my gosh, that is insane.
Good God. Holy crap.
That's like one of those
That
things you
thing's
buy
small.
for someone and give it to them, and they can just look at you and go, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with that?"
You could take the mattress off that bed and just lay on the bear.
Well, my
There
son
you go.
actually likes to lie in between his legs with his head up on his tummy. Says it's really comfortable, like a beanbag.
That's what
Damn
it is.
thing's
It's just it's a beanbag.
It's a bear-shaped
that
beanbag.
thing's as big as I am, that damn thing.
That does
Well, I'm
remind me.
6'1", so
They did do a
Yes.
Snorlax beanbag that I almost bought. It's kind of the same idea.
But yeah, because Valentine's Day is coming up, we're hoping it'll shift fairly quickly.
now you sell that on some you got like an internet site or something that you do that
Facebook
with,
Marketplace.
Maxie? Okay, yeah. Good God, Kran, this is gonna look great.
Oh, Kran, you'll be happy to know that I got complimented the other day on one of my T-shirts with your artwork on it.
Oh, okay.
God, that looks
Hi.
good, Kran. Jesus.
Where's my there it is. I think we got the flats done.
See, to me, if I was drawing it, I'd think I was done now.
No, we need shading.
Yeah.
You know, with a couple of years of practice, I reckon I could possibly get somewhere close to that level. The shading's just beyond me, though. I think I just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
getting the shadows and the lighting angles and all that stuff. It's just like, oh my god.
Good God, that thing's
It's part of
good.
the learning.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd never get the shading. I mean, look at that character. That's her, one of her PFPs, I guess, on the right. You did that, right, Cran? Look at the
Yeah.
shading on that thing. I mean, God dang.
I haven't learned how to do more complicated shading on this program yet, so right now it's still just cell shading on everything. Let's see.
We were talking about the pointed chin. If you look at the anime picture in the right-hand corner,
Oh yeah, that's
that chin's really, that thing's really pointed. And
That's the 90s style. That's where she.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
that's the best.
A chin that you have to register as a deadly weapon.
Yes.
That's right.
If the nose can't cut paper, I don't want it. Let's see.
Apparently, some issues going on with the current season of anime. That there's a lot of animes that are getting delayed. Like they're about halfway through the seasons. They're saying after episode 7 there'll be a delay of X number of weeks.
No, I saw Nier said after episode 3, they're like, it's on indefinite hiatus. It's like, what? But it just goes to show you the industry still literally works week by week, like the manga does. They will literally finish shows minutes before it's supposed to air. It's kind of insane.
God, that is good.
Speaking of good anime, you should all go and watch Reincarnated as a Sword. It's such a good anime. Well,
Is
actually,
that done airing?
the first season's done in subs, and they're done 4 episodes of the dub so far, and it's awesome as well. I've been watching it every Friday.
I just finished watching Spy Family Part 2 of Season 1. So
I watched part 1 of Season 1, and I just sort of I can take it or leave it. I mean, Anya's cute and all.
I love Anya.
Yours kick ass, and Lloyd is, a bit dopey, but
It's not for everyone, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's I love it.
I don't know that I really go for the Cold War vibe. You gotta like that thing, and I lived through it, so I kind of don't like it that much.
That makes sense.
You should have been around during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Pass.
Yes.
I was born not
scary.
long after that.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't think to do what you're doing there, Cran.
Sorry, I just thought.
No.
I just had a thought about
I'm just saying.
You would have to travel in time to do like dinosaur porn. Well, Creaky should.
I was talking about you drawing that shading on her hair. Oh, shit.
I deserve. Just kick me for that one.
You people in your den.
No, it's all right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, you can blame me for bringing that one up. I just thought it was so ridiculous I had to mention it.
The fact that I knew it was a thing is, yeah.
Well,
I didn't know it was a thing, and I was quite happy with that. Now you go and ruin it.
Yeah.
For once, I didn't bring it up.
The longer you live, the more you know, unless you live under a rock.
Yeah. God damn, Cran, look at that. Jesus.
Hang on.
You a little jelly creaky.
What was that?
What?
I'm sorry. Oh,
you
you're
a little jelly creaky?
No, not really.
Oh man, my neck is stiff. From
Why?
lifting 2 nights ago.
Oh man,
What
I
can-
did
what
some
can you
big time
bench?
lifting yesterday.
Well, actually, I don't have quite the equipment for bench pressing. I've actually got a long bar now, and I picked up some 10-kilo weights at the local junk auction last week. I was actually there this morning, and the 15-kilo weights that I wanted to pick up, I got the 10-kilo weights for like $8, and I thought, oh, that's pretty good. And
That is good.
and I was going to bid on the 15-kilo weights two lots later, and they immediately started at 50 and then went up to 55, and I'm like, friggin' hell, that's a huge amount of difference for 5 kilos extra, raw steel.
Yeah.
And so I left them because they were way too expensive. And then I was going through we were over at the auction this morning going through the stuff, and I went, oh, there's the 15-kilo weights sitting there. Obviously, the person didn't show up and pick them up because they thought they paid too much for them, so they just did a runner. So they're back again. So I might see what they go for this time. But what I need is the mount that goes. I've got the weight bench. I've got the long bar. I've got the weights. I need the mount to put the long bar on, and then I can bench press because I don't have anybody to spot for me, so I can't do it without a.
Yeah, be careful.
Safety first.
Be careful. Yeah, be careful on that.
Well, I wouldn't really want to go to exhaustion because of the jerky stiff person syndrome. I've got to, hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
But all in all, I've got to be able to get under the damn bar, so I need a mount to put it on, and I haven't got one. That's what I need, and then I can bench press. But my how heavy are the dumbbells you lift, to quote an anime title? 18 kilos, which is about 40 pounds. Which is nothing for Creaky, I know, but I managed to get up. I managed to get up to 15 reps of that Creaky on my good arm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
I was pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I did floor press yesterday, and I benched. Well, not bench, floor press. You're on the ground, but I did like 265 pounds, something like that, which is 120 kilos. So I got the state championships coming up here in 2 weeks, so I'm there. I'm peaking at the right time, I hope.
Yeah, I've had issues around my shoulders and my neck since how long ago was it now? About 12, 14 years ago. I was in one of my big fitness phases, and I was playing 3rd grade cricket, and our team was about to go into the finals. And I was doing mixed martial arts as well. And I managed to tear a rotator cuff on my bowling arm.
Oh, lovely.
I was doing ankle locks in Greco-Roman wrestling, and we were doing opposed ankle locks, and I lifted too high with my shoulder and tore my rotator cuff, and that caused the jerky stiff person syndrome to play up in my left arm, and so that arm was out for like 3.5 years and lost a lot of movement in that shoulder, and then I finally started to get that back, and then I did the other one. So that was terrible. So much pain, and I had a huge amount of acupuncture and stuff. But now I'm not sure what the name of the muscle is, but it's basically the one you use to shrug. Cricky might know what it's called.
Delts.
Yeah. Well, it's the one right on the top of your shoulder that connects sort of the base of your neck to the ball of your shoulder, and that's the one that plays up. It gets really, really tight. So I'm sort of stretching it out while I'm talking to you. Kind of feel like I should go back and get some more acupuncture on it to get it to loosen up a bit.
I tried that acupuncture one time, and I bled like a stuck pig.
Oh,
well, they didn't know what they were doing then, because they're supposed to dodge the veins and arteries. No, you only ever go to an acupuncturist that's recommended to you. You never go to one on spec. I did that once, and there was bleeding and bruising and horribleness, and
Yeah, it's funny.
I learned my lesson.
Before Solly died, you know, I had him get acupuncture, you know, and it really helped him. He got it like 2 weeks before he died. He couldn't, you know, stand up, barely stand up. But he got that acupuncture, and he got an adjustment on his spine and his legs. Boy, he could stand up, you know, and stuff like that. So
That stuff works.
It all depends on what the ailment is.
yeah.
That stuff can work.
Well, he was weak. So because cancer had started getting him, you know. So
He was a good boy, and he lived a good life.
yeah, he was a good boy. He sure was. Boy, that's good, Kran. Holy.
You know, this is the problem with being an immortal 8,000-year-old powerlifter is that you just watch everything else die. You've been around for so long.
I still think Creaky needs to cosplay as Corolla just because.
No,
Yes.
not Karula. Maybe Victor.
Don't think he's really got the build. Sorry to say.
Yeah, I think that Creaky could play Victor and Crane could play Karula.
Oh, that sizing is going to work, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if the Karula would have been all that tall.
But Karula was taller than she's taller than Alita. She's got to be at least like 5'8" or something like that, isn't she? 5'8", which is what, about
someone Google it.
1.7 meters, I guess.
How many? Crane, do you know how many centimeters tall you are?
150.
See, there's a character in that novel, the light novel series I was telling you about. That I was caught up in a hero summoning, but the world was at peace. Her name is, well, she has multiple names because she's like one of those sort of information types, but she goes under a whole bunch of different names. Phantasmal King, Alice, but she's actually an import from another reality, and she lived. She was the hero of hope. And she killed an evil god to save her reality. And in doing so, she ended up becoming immortal. And she watched all her friends die. And she actually took a small component of each of her friends as they died into her, they call a heart tool, which is sort of a weapon system that relies on the power of your heart or the strength of your heart. And she ended up living over 100,000 years in that reality and got bored of it and switched over to another one. But she's like hundreds of thousands of years old, and only just now experiencing her first love with the main character, which I thought was interesting. But she's 150 centimeters tall, but she's so goddamn powerful. It's just like
I'm 187 centimeters tall. And see, Cran, you're what? Cran, you're like 5 foot tall, I think.
Yeah, so I think I'm technically 152 or something. I don't know. I'm American. Okay. I don't do metric.
Well, depending on the time of day and how much you've been carrying around during the day, your height will actually vary.
That is true.
Yeah, it does.
Your spine will compress.
God, that is good, Cran. Good God.
It looked good flat, but you start putting a few shadows on it and it really brings it.
Really
God, it really looks good now.
Oh, let's see.
So everybody on the stream here, if you need commission, Cran's just dying for commissions.
I am reaching through the speaker and grabbing your lips and putting them together.
Shit.
How in trouble are you, Creaky?
Big time, yeah.
I'm sure Angelus is disappointed with me. I haven't got a single fuck you from Cranberry so far. So.
Yeah.
Angelus will tell me I'll let the team down.
Well, if Angelus is on here, he'd already have 3.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know. I thought the last time that Angelus and Cranberry were on at the same time that she was ignoring him because he said a few things that deserved a fuck you.
Like, nope.
So I was right. You were ignoring him.
Yep.
I do like that drawing, Cran.
What, this one?
Oh, I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I think it came out pretty well. Good practice.
I like characters that look really cheery. You know, a lot of those sort
That's
of
mine.
anime characters where they're doing that
Yeah.
big smile with the mouth open pose.
Yeah.
I really like those.
Yeah.
It wouldn't use the word displays. It's sort of it puts the emotion across. It gets the emotion across of somebody who's really happy.
I was going to say there's something missing on that picture, though.
What?
The nose can't cut paper.
Okay, to be fair, that character actually has a big. It was actually okay. To be on, let me go back to it. Let me rotate my canvas back. When I originally doodled this, I did. Let me get paint layer here.
What's the name of that character again, Kran?
The Axe is their name. Don't ask. Oh, it's not
Okay.
letting me do it because it's a reference. Okay, well I can't do it,
This is
but
cute.
when I sketched this out, I did give her the big old sharp nose that I like, and then when I went to go ink it, I said, "Oh wait, she has a button nose. I can't do that."
Yeah.
Rabbits don't have nose knives.
No,
She looks like one of those Viera from Final
It is.
Fantasy.
That's my Viera.
Okay. Oh, you play
I gave
Final
her
Fantasy?
the biggest, widest nose I could give her.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I play a Viera, the tallest race, or the tallest of the Viera, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Well, the
Sentient
ears must add
rabbits,
at
huh?
least 1.5 feet.
the ears do add. Oh, go back. There's that artist joke, or the meme. Stop! It's like, no. Why should I stop? And then they say, "Oh, because you're on the wrong layer." And you're like, "Well, no. All my work down the drain."
Yeah, at least there's only one layer in a text editor. Because I get horrible confused if I had to work on layers of text.
Oh yeah, I can't even tell you what number layer I'm on right now.
Yeah, I stopped asking Kran how many layers is on this one drawing
No.
or something because
I can't keep track of it.
I'd be hitting save every now and then, Kran.
Oh, I am. It's up here.
Oh, okay. Or have auto save on or something.
That's something else I haven't figured out on here.
Ah,
But no, I will occasionally go up here and click it.
yeah.
Although there was another night not too long ago I was working. I was like, oh, I'm doing real good. And then I looked at the time and said, it's been an hour since I saved. Very slowly hit save.
Time for an electrical storm.
Don't say that because my power goes out all the time.
You know, canvases don't suffer from blackouts.
That's right.
No, but if you spill something on it, that's it.
Yeah, good point. There's no back button.
Nope. It's like, well, that was good while it lasted.
Kind of like comparing a word processing program to a classic hammer typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually learned how to type on a hammer typewriter back in the late 80s.
Nice.
And yeah, for a long time, I would be messing keyboards up because I'd be pushing too hard on the keys. Like, whack, 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 whack.
Do you like mechanical keyboards then?
Yeah, no, I'm totally a mechanical keyboard guy.
Yes.
I hate the membrane ones.
It's like if I don't get a nice, satisfying, let's see if it'll let me do it. Yeah, mine's not the loudest one either, unfortunately.
I like to feel it.
I've got Cherry MX
I like to feel
Brown.
them click.
Yeah, I've got Cherry MX Brown keys and a keyboard condom on my keyboard because my cat threw up on my previous keyboard, and that didn't end well.
Oh,
It
Oh no.
rusted some of the mechanics of the keys, and they stopped
What?
working.
The stomach acid.
Stomach acid.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah, it'll corrode it.
Never get cat vomit in your keyboard.
Try not to get cat vomit anywhere.
I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But no, I have what I call a keyboard condom. It's basically because all the keyboards are quite variable in the layouts and stuff with jockey wheels and things on them these days. And I buy high-end keyboards, so they make these keyboard condoms to go over the entire set of keys. And so if the cat throws up on your keyboard, you just pick up the whole keyboard condom, put it in a bag, and put it out with the rubbish. And your keyboard that's $300-400 doesn't end up stopping.
I did not know that was a thing, but I should be surprised.
I bought 2 of them, so if my cat ralphs on my keyboard, I can immediately cover it again.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Well, she's not here at the moment, but one of my cats has a bed right next to my keyboard.
Oh.
So that she can hang out with me.
You're asking for trouble, Maxie.
Well, it was either next to the keyboard or she slept on the keyboard. What choice do you think I would?
Oh shit! No, yeah. You don't have much.
There was one time I got a message from you that was really weird, and I was like, "What?" And you said, "Oh, it was my cat."
Yeah, pluses and minuses because she leans up against the side of the keypad. Which has a minus sign, a plus key, and an enter key. Oh, it gets worse. I'm doing sales on Marketplace, and if I don't click off the web browser where the Marketplace chat is open, if I go out of the room, I can come back and there's like 1,500 thumbs up that she's caused by leaning against the enter key. And I had it's happened twice now. And the people are like, why the hell are you spamming thousands of thumbs up? It's not me, it's my cat's bum.
And Canada goes, we understand. Because that is a thing they do.
Are rabbits that do that sort of thing too?
Get on stuff, yes. They love making a mess. That's their greatest joy, or at least Louis' greatest joy in life.
Louise is, what's the other rabbit's name?
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee, that's right.
I mean, when I went to go get a drink a little bit ago, he had just gotten into his dig box and literally exploded it everywhere. Just threw it all out. Like, why? Why would you do that?
Depending on how the litter tray's been dug up, sometimes it's a bit like the lazy people at the golf course that never rake the sand traps, and you can end up with divots and stuff. Sometimes the cat will get in there and use the litter, and because there's a divot, the wee flows into it before it sinks into the litter, and they get it on their foot. And then I get all these wee litter footprints all across the house. I could see where they went after they went to the bathroom because there's this line of footprints. They're usually heading for the front door.
See, if I was doing it, I wouldn't think to be doing this if I was doing that. I would have a clue.
What, not wipe your feet?
No, doing a painting or whatever like you're doing here, I wouldn't think about shading like this. I don't know, you know. That's how ignorant I am of art.
I've had a few, college courses.
Yeah.
That art degree I'm putting to good use.
Oh, a dental hygienist with an art degree.
Dental assistant.
Dental assistant.
Excuse
me.
There is. It's okay. No, there is a big difference. That's the only reason.
Okay. Oh, okay. Damn.
I think I'm going to. Don't like that. See, could have kept it simple. Nope. It got really quiet. Talk.
we were watching.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just looking over one of my old chapters again.
Do you go back and
which
edit
one?
stuff a lot?
Not a lot, but there are some times I'll look at something and see, have an idea for a better way of maybe I could have worded a sentence or a remark or something like that. But it's
Yeah,
happened
that's
less and less often these days.
That's like with videos. Once you put a video out, you can put another one out, but you can't edit the one that's already on YouTube. You have
Yeah.
to- Well, that Mistress Malevolent, she really liked that video I did, of weird woman thing. She really liked that. Oh, and Maxie, I remember some time ago we were interviewing, we were interviewing El Lamont, and I think you said something about where the name Creaky came from, and I had just thought of it. She actually gave me that name, Mistress Malevolent. It was a thing where she she was saying, she has a vampire theme going, on her Twitter feed, and she says, don't you unfollow me, or else Mistress Malevolent will find you, and I'm a vampire, and all this stuff like that. And I sent her back a thing and said, oh, I wouldn't dare unfollow my mistress, and she sent me one back. She says, stay alive, Creaky, stay alive.
Oh,
That's the
geez.
first time anybody called me a Creaky.
Wait, so it isn't in reference to like an Indian? It's because you're old?
I guess. or my bones creak or something.
Oh my
I
gosh.
guess.
I always thought it was like in reference to your
my bones don't actually creak, but anyway.
Yeah, learn something new every day.
Yeah. That makes it give like little deviations in the fabric, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's, a bodysuit, so it really does have that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that smirk she has.
I love a smirk.
Yeah. It got quiet again, didn't it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to finish volume 8 of the Mars Chronicles.
You haven't finished it yet?
After no, man, I haven't gotten to it. No, I know, no shit.
It's been out for a while.
falling down on my. I know. Holy shit! It's like I'm falling down on my Alita army requirements. That's 2 tools you're using there, isn't it? You flip them back and forth, I guess, don't you?
What, this versus this?
One way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the grab tool. I can move it, and then that's the actual paint tool.
Yeah, but I noticed when you like do a line of one color, then you flip to a new tool, and you can paint within that area without disturbing what's outside the area, even though it's the same color.
That's called a clipping glare that I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
So I only am working on wherever this color is.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Well.
Now, if I were to take all this other color off that's layered on top of it, you'd see my lines like way out to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Talk.
So Creaky, when are you getting your 001 number badge for Cranberry's fan club.
No.
What?
Well,
what is this, Cran? What is this?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You're laying it on so thick, Creaky, that I thought you must be her number one fan.
Mhm.
Let's not.
I think Rido's probably her. Rido's her number one fan, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Oh Lord.
I was poking fun.
Yes.
If someone just enjoys the art, that's enough.
Silently judging.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right.
Hold
Yes.
on. Oh crap, there's too many layers now. Ah! I can't close everything.
Can't believe you put too many layers up.
Ah,
Yeah.
I know it's awful.
Rookie move.
Yeah. Alita's mad. Stop.
No, get rid of the O and put it an A. It's going to be stat,
Oh, okay.
not stop. Stat.
Why is it stap?
Because it's
Because
cute.
you're so angry that you're not pronouncing it properly. Stat.
Oh, I thought that might have been Alita's accent or something.
There's all these little anime trope thingies that pop up again and again and again.
Yeah.
Like the red eyes and the soul leaving the body and all those sorts of little cartoony staples.
I used to see them a lot in the 90s.
Oh, you still see them? I mean,
They're
I've
there,
watched
but
it.
they're
I've watched an awful lot of anime in the last couple of years, so I see them reasonably regularly enough. Oh, Cran, I finished watching Real Girl.
Oh, how was it?
Awesome. Push
Real
it up
Girl,
your
what
watch
is this?
list. I actually stopped watching it for about a month because I got a little bit bored because it's a 25 episode season, but it's a complete story, so you're not waiting for the next bit. It actually finishes. But I got a little bit boring around the middle, just because the main character, the male main character, is so whiny. Like, he's got this beautiful woman that's fallen in love with him, and he just has no confidence and doesn't believe that she loves him and all that sort of stuff. So I think it annoys me so much because I was exactly like that in high school. Like, well, I didn't have a beautiful woman fall in love with me, but I wouldn't believe anything positive about myself or about my
Lack
situation.
of self-confidence and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was me too back in high school.
So
Actually, being into my 20s, I think.
yeah,
100%.
it took me until I was 25 to fix it well enough to function in society. But this anime, I actually picked it at the beginning what the secret was, but the way that they handled it and the ending was just so poignant and so well done, and uplifting. And it was just a really, really, really good anime at the end. I mean, there was bits of it that were a bit annoying with how lacking in self-confidence the main character was, but the actual overall flow and beats of the story was just excellent. It was brilliant, and I highly recommend Real Girl. It's on High Dive. And it's a complete story. So you finish it, you go, the story's finished. Excellent. I don't have to go somewhere else to find out what happens.
All the girls I knew in high school are dead. That's not
freaky?
true.
You may have turned me down, but I outlived you.
One that I was thinking of, since we're on the subject here of drawing cyborgs, Violet Evergarden. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
That's so good.
Yeah, I
It really
like that
is.
Yeah, it's a young woman who
I watched 3 episodes and gave up on it. Does it get better?
It's a slow burn. It's very
really
much
slow.
it's yeah. Well, she's recovering. She's basically it's all about a war victim recovering and moving on with her life, basically. So yeah, it's not going to be fast paced or anything.
Yeah, there was a interview one guy did of a Iraq war vet who actually watched it. He wanted to see what someone who has gone through, war battlefield trauma thought of it, and it was this tough soldier type guy who, well, he really enjoyed it.
Didn't the main character have both her arms ripped off?
She had one arm, I think, got shot off, and the other one got so badly damaged. Oh, I know. One got blown off by a grenade, and the other one, I think, got so badly damaged by a sniper round that she ended up losing that arm while she was pulling her commanding officer to safety with her teeth.
Yeah, that scene. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
This is anime?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's
she ends
also
up,
beautiful.
Yeah, she ends up in civilian life trying to get herself back together with a pair of sort of steampunk-esque cyber arms.
Wow.
It's really,
So she's kind of
really
like she's like Alita then.
Kinda.
Mm.
She's a well-trained killer, but at the end of the story, she vows never to take another life again. And she still ends up putting a stop to some bad guys that were trying to start another war.
Ah.
It's just a really good character story.
Mm-hmm.
See, anime can go from the full gamut of cutesy magical girl Saturday afternoon cartoons all the way through to things like Domestic
Very
Girlfriend.
heavy, emotional, yeah.
Grave of the Fireflies, if you feel like hurting
there's that one
yourself.
too. I've seen enough of that one, and also read enough history about what it was like for the Japanese after the attacks on their cities to know that I don't want to watch that one.
I've seen it multiple times, and I have cried like a baby every time.
Yeah.
I was
It
watching one
hurts.
that I stopped watching because it was just too bleak, called Tokyo Sinks.
Mm.
Don't know that one.
And basically there's massive eruptions or tremors across the Pacific Rim there, and Tokyo starts sliding into the ocean, and it's all the people dying and trying to escape, and the scene that really went like, this is too fucking brutal, was there's this family who have managed to get out of the city before it sank, and they're going up into the mountains because if the city's sinking or the island's sinking, the mountains will be the last place to sink, so that's where they want to go with hopes of being rescued. And they get up into the mountains, and I think the father was from the mountains, and so he knew the area, and there was this area that was fenced off, and it had all these signs on it saying warning, live ammunition.
I've seen
blah, blah,
this. I've seen this.
And he climbs over the fence because he knows that wild yams grow in there and they're desperate for food. So he goes in and he's digging for wild yams. He's like, dig, 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 clink, boom, and he's dead. And
It's out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then the rest of the family, like, they got a couple of yams out of it, but they lost the husband, and they're continuing tramping on up into the mountains. And I've walked up to the top of Mount Kosciuszko, which is the highest mountain in Australia, and it's not much of a mountain compared to mountains pretty much anywhere else, because Australia's like Cranberry's pencils that she's using the pencil extender on. It's the country's basically worn down to the nub. So it's not. It was a lot of work, but it wasn't like mountain climbing. It was mountain walking, mountain hiking to get up to the top of Mount Kosciuszko. But on the way there, you're walking along these ridges with like scree slopes on either side. So basically, you had nowhere to go. But this family's sort of walking on these ridge tops, and I can't remember if somebody fell off the ridge or they dropped their backpack and they ran off down the side of the ridge to get it, and they just collapsed. And they're lying there, and somebody goes to run down to help them and gets grabbed by a third person. Says, "No, don't go down there." It's like, what about my sister? No, she's dead. What? The volcanism in the area was causing fissures in the ground to release toxic gas. It was settling in the low points, and she dropped her backpack and had rolled down this slope, like 20 meters.
And she went into the gas.
She went into the gas to pick it up and breathed it in and died. And she was just gone.
Oh, this is all coming back to me. That was a dark show.
It was brutal. It was like, I'm just not going to watch this because I can be depressed in my own life. I don't need anime to help me get depressed.
I might miss that one.
And there was another scene where they were on they were on a life raft, like one of those inflatable life rafts with the light on the top of it, sort of round with the tent. And they'd gone onto a fishing trawler to attempt to get off the island, and a storm swell had come up and the trawler had sunk, and they got onto the escape raft. And one of the guys was feeling seasick because of how rough it was, and he had his head out the tent flap, and he had his head over the side, and he was like feeding the fishes, like chundering.
Does a shark come by and take his head off?
Well, no. Well, you don't see it happen, but the other guy who's with him fell asleep and wakes up in the morning, and the guy's still leaning over the side of the raft. And he says, "What are you doing?" He pulls him back, and he's missing the top half of his body because the shark's taken it. And it's just the bottom half of the guy's body.
Oh, lovely.
It's brutal. Anime is brutal.
I loved it.
But then you get dumpster fires on a roller coaster, like Domestic Girlfriend. That show, you can't look away. It's just such a mess.
No. Did anyone else here ever watch Guilty Crown?
Guilty
Never
what?
heard of it.
It's called Guilty Crown. There's a reason you haven't heard of it.
Probably doesn't show in Australia.
No, it's just bad.
Oh, okay.
It had the first few episodes are like, hey, this is going to be pretty good. And the final battle, the main character goes to battle on a Segway.
Of course.
As you do. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, are you serious?
Hey, Segways are serious business.
I mean, this dude is like dodging bullets and everything.
Wow. Now, was it supposed to be a comedy, or were they trying to be serious?
No, it was supposed to be serious. It's like at the end of it, they all kind of, I guess the animators looked at each other and went, yeah, we fucked this up, or the writers did. There was another one, KranberriJam Iron Fortress or something. I can't remember how it's pronounced. It's pretty sure it's Kranberry or something. And it's people on a train. Anyway, in the final battle, they're, fighting some. I've wiped a lot of this from my mind of fighting someone, and they're on a train, mind you, which is on tracks. And they say,
so.
Yeah, we got to plan this out because we can't take elusive or what's the word?
Detours?
Evasive actions.
Oh.
Because you're on a train, right?
Yep.
5 minutes later, the driver is like, we're going to take evasive action.
How? Speed up or slow down?
Somehow the train jumps a track and lands on another one that wasn't there a few scenes ago.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do these people not know how trains work?
I don't know, but 5 minutes ago they just said they couldn't.
Gonna have a train chase now. Look, I've seen vaguely believable things where they throw a brick at the manual shifter for the track switcher and manage to
switch
sort
the
of
track.
Dodge something that way by switching the tracks to another track, but magically jumping. Yeah, okay. It's like lazy.
Oh, it was so bad.
Have any of you seen Domestic Girlfriend, by the way?
I've never heard of it.
Heard of it, haven't seen it.
It's a dumpster fire on a roller coaster.
Hmm.
It is amazing. I love it so much. In the very first episode, this guy's fallen in love with his teacher, who's actually a childhood friend from his sort of neighborhood. It's an older girl. She's like 4 or 5 years older than him, and he's in high school, and she's just started teaching there after finishing a teaching degree, and he's in love with her.
Of course.
And he's not getting anywhere with her because, well, she's actually got feelings for him too, but, you know, student-teacher situation, can't really go there.
Mm.
But that doesn't stop him from wanting to. But he gets really despondent, and a friend of his invites him to a mixer with girls from another high school. That teacher who he knew as a childhood friend, sort of childhood babysitter kind of relationship, they moved out of that neighborhood, but he still knows her from his childhood. But he's been in love with her for a while, but she's not living in his neighborhood anymore, but she's teaching at his school. So he agrees to go to make up the numbers to this mixer with these girls from a high school from another area, and ends up hooking up with one because like he's not into it and she's not into it, and she basically says, "Oh, let's get out of here." And anyway, he's in this other area, and she takes him to her place and basically wants to screw him because she wants to lose her virginity because all the girls in her class keep bragging her for being a virgin and saying, "Oh, you wouldn't understand, you're a virgin, rah rah rah." So she's like, "I'll find the first reasonable looking guy and lose my virginity to him, and then that problem will be solved." So
As you do.
So the anime actually starts with them having had sex.
Oh, so they actually did it.
Oh yeah, first scene of the first scene of the show. You know that where this show's going because they're lying there panting after the act, and then it goes back a few days, and you find out that he's in love with the teacher, and he's not getting anywhere with that, and he gets frustrated and he ends up sleeping with this other girl at her parents' house. Well, her mother, she says, "Oh, my mother's a single mum. My father died some years ago," and screws this girl. And then she says, "Okay, get out. I don't want to see you again.
Oh.
I don't even want to know what your name is. You've served your purpose. Go away."
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she was pretty brutal about it. And he's like, "Okay, well, obviously there was nothing but a physical, situation there, and now it's gone." And so he goes back to being disappointed about the teacher thing. And then his father rocks up a bit. Oh no, he goes and tells his friend about his cousin. Well, his cousin's like a good friend to him. And he goes and tells his cousin about it. And his cousin's like, "Really? God, why does that never happen to me?" And he's like, "Well, it didn't really work out for me, And then he goes home, and his father comes in and says, "Look, son, I've been meaning to tell you this for a while, but I'm getting remarried. And
oh no!
I want you to meet the."
Oh shit!
We know where this is going.
Exactly. I want you to meet
Yes.
I want you to meet your future mother, and she's got 2 daughters. And you'll be meeting them
Shit!
for dinner tonight.
Wait. Max, is this turning into one of my things?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said you should watch it. The door opens, and the mother comes in. She's very beautiful, and the son's like, "Oh yeah, pretty milfy stepmother I'm going to have." But God, she looks familiar. I don't know why. And then she steps aside and says, "Let me introduce you to my daughters." The first one who steps through the door is the teacher, and the one that steps out from behind her is the girl he screwed earlier that day.
Oh, no, I'm watching this.
What's the name of this? I got
Domestic Girlfriend. It is a dumpster fire on a roller coaster.
Yep. All right. Sold.
And this is all in the first episode.
And this is on High Dive, is it?
Yeah, it is. and it's subbed end up, so you can have it in your preferred version.
Yes,
But,
yes, need this.
and then like, because he's in such close association with these two girls, one of which he slept with but had no feelings for, and one of which he has feelings for but hasn't slept with. Let's just say that there's a bit of competition going on.
Oh
But-
my
To
gosh.
say the
But
least.
the anime is a complete train wreck. But the entire story, the manga, oh my god! You watch the anime and you want to know what happens next. You watch the manga. Oh, sorry, you read the manga. The final couple of I guess installments of the manga. I'm not going to spoil it, but god damn, subvert your expectations. Why don't you? God.
Like good or bad?
Yes.
Nuclear
Okay.
war breaks out and everybody dies.
Good.
It was
good
aliens
and
the whole
bad.
time.
No, it wasn't. But the shit that goes down, I'll just say that there is a stabbing.
Wait, are we going nice boat route?
Are we going which route?
Nice boat.
Nice vote.
I might be the only person here who gets that reference.
No, I don't get that reference.
Yes, you are. I don't get it.
There were a lot of people who were very unhappy with the end of the manga, but I kind of liked it because it was so original, and different, and I would like one of you guys to actually get to the end of that story and tell me what you thought. But it is a total.
I might have to watch this. I
This
gotta
sounds like a
watch
train
this.
wreck. I love it.
It's total train
Yeah,
wreck. I mean, wow.
All right, what color we want to do the letters?
Oh, let's see. Purple.
Purple. Okay. Let's go with the lighter purple.
Like her motorball body.
Yeah. Holy crap, that's good.
Now, see, Creaky, see that little issue here?
Yeah.
That's why
What
the fill
about it?
tool doesn't work.
Can you feather that?
I can go back in and do like this to make it better. Oh, except I put it on the wrong
Yeah.
layer again. Damn it.
Do you know about feathering when you do fills?
I did it on Photoshop. I have no idea if this
Right.
has it or not. Like I said, still learning.
I'll
But,
BRB.
Okay. I
they
might
ever
actually
gonna
get
come
to
out?
finish this. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Maxie, do you know if they're going to come out with a third season of Gate?
I think he walked away, but I don't think there's been any discussion about it. I could be wrong though.
They need to.
That's a cool effect.
Let's see. What I might do is do a gradient in the letters. Might see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the outline of the letters, should we do, oh, not that tool. Do a darker or a lighter purple? Or should I do something different?
I would say darker, I'd say.
Darker, you think it won't blend in? Well, let's try darker.
Yeah, we try it. You can always take
Yeah.
it out, right?
That's the good thing about this. Where's my select tool? There it is.
I mean, darker around the letters there?
Yeah, like the outline here.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking maybe if you did like a shadow effect on the underside of some of it.
Yeah, like down here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try something.
The underside of one part of the T and along
Yeah.
one side.
The internal. Yeah, that part of the A is, yeah.
Darn it. I need that. Oh,
That
it's
is
messing
an
up.
odd thing for it to be doing. Usually a fill tool would fill
Yeah,
completely.
let me go back. I don't like that.
Looks like marquee lights going around.
Yeah. Let me try something real quick. Let's try this. That works.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not too bad. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's try something else here. Let's do another clipping layer.
Can you drop the letters down just a little bit?
Yeah, I can in a second. Let me try. Well, I want to make sure I do some. Anyway, I'm going to mess with it in a second. What am I doing?
You know, so it's not covering her up so much, you know.
There it is. Let's try this.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. So let's
Yeah.
undo that for a sec. No, I should be able. Let me try something. Learning as we go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Let's see if this will work.
It's working.
Yes, that works. Okay.
It is.
All right. So let's do this. And of course, I'm on the wrong layer again. Okay. I know. I should know better.
Kran, I will never ask you how many layers anymore.
Please don't.
Oop.
There we go.
I'm back.
There he is. There was a
Alright.
question for you, Maxie.
What was it?
If you'd heard of whether or not they're coming out with a third season of Gate or not.
I haven't. You mean and so the JSDF
Yes.
fought there? I don't think so. I have moved on to the light novels, and I got to say that you've probably seen the best part of the story already.
Mm.
There's an arc where Lele, the little magical girl, gets possessed by a god.
Ooh.
And most people get possessed by the god. Basically, their soul shrivels up and dies.
Mm.
So only generally the priestesses who have given their entire lives to the goddess will actually be possessed, but none of them were good enough. And then she saw Lele and went, "Ooh, this is nice." And she basically took over Lele's body and then went to a patisserie and pigged out. So, but when she left Lele's body, Lele was
Different?
I wouldn't necessarily call it confused, sort of like disorientated, but she was okay. But yeah, she gained some powers from being possessed by God for a while.
Now, just to be clear, this is the young girl who was combining quantum physics with her magic?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The sort
Jesus.
of the teal-headed lass. Oh yeah, like she learned Japanese. She got some books on quantum physics and went, so that's what all that stuff is. And once she understood how the molecules and everything fit together, basically she superpowered her magic and blew everyone else away.
Yeah, she started doing like massive artillery strikes with spells.
Well, basically she used it to refine the air into like high oxygen content or create plasma by superheating things, and knowing what would cause what to happen and getting the ratios right and all that sort of stuff meant that she had a huge amount of control over physical manifestations of magic that nobody else had. And that's why she actually created a whole new field of magic based on physics.
So it's almost like being connected to two supercomputers, sort of.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd call it much. G'day, Angelus. How you doing?
Are you off work?
Off
Is it
sick,
lunchtime?
yeah.
Oh. Sick of work or actually sick?
Actually sick. I ate something bad and didn't agree with me.
Oh.
Ooh. You all right? Well, that's a dumb question. I'm sorry.
You should
Hey, I'm
keep away
sick. You
from
okay?
you should keep away from the dodgy hookers, man.
Yeah. Dodgy.
Damn.
Shit.
Max is throwing them today.
Well,
Sorry,
he is.
I'm in domestic girlfriend mode, I think.
don't
Oh, that's
Don't-
nice. That is.
Yeah, I think that works.
Don't tell
Yeah, it
Alita,
does.
but I think it's because I ate some bad chocolate.
Ooh,
Oh,
even bad chocolate is good chocolate, according to Alita.
Nope.
She has a cyber
No.
stomach. She can deal.
Yeah, she can break it down into whatever's necessary.
Oh, wait.
Unfortunately, mine didn't. So
oops.
Hold on, let me figure this thing out. What am I doing?
Yeah, just low enough to where the L covers up. You know,
Nope, it's still not
there
working.
you go. That's not it.
No. Ah.
Control Z, Control Z.
Yep.
you know what else
Yeah.
might be a cool effect is if you could
Stop.
like go from dark to a light contrast, going from the bottom up. But I don't know if you'd be able to get away with that.
Why aren't you working?
Yeah, Crane, I was sure I told you all about Domestic Girlfriend, but maybe I'm thinking about A Sister's All You Need.
A sister's all you need, I think you mentioned to me.
Oh, I mentioned that to you about 10 times.
Yeah.
So I knew it was right up your alley.
I'm going to duplicate this.
The good thing about that anime, and I'm still reading the light novels as they come out in English. The good thing about that story is it's all about writers and gamers and stuff. It's peak. Except for that massive sort of over the top syscon thing at the beginning, which threw everybody off the anime and made sure they didn't get a second season.
Ah,
Syscon?
Yeah.
yay.
Well, it's called A Sister's All You Need.
I love the anime.
The main character's a light novel writer, and he's a very niche light novel writer. No, he's not writing dinosaur porn. He's basically writing syscon.
I was actually trying to forget that, and you bring it up again.
Yeah, yeah, we'd gotten past that, Maxie.
Oh, we haven't.
But he's writing some really like kinked syscon stuff. Like it's so kinked that it's satire, basically. But it's right at the beginning, and I reckon it's like 90% of people who watched it on spec probably went, nah, I'm not going any further. But after you get past that bit, it's a really good sort of expose about light novel writers, like young people writing
Yeah,
novels.
a little lower there, Grant. There. Yeah, there you go.
And like there's a whole section of it where they're playing a role-playing game, and all of like there's two guy writers, Itsuki and Fuya, and then there's how do you pronounce that name? Karenko? I can't pronounce her name properly because I can't remember it exactly, but she's madly in love with Itsuki. She's in love with him because she was a shut-in and she was going to kill herself, and then she read his book, and his passion for the subject, basically having read that, she decided that life was worth living and she was going to find this guy and make him hers, and that's basically what she spends most of the anime trying to do. But she's also a genius writer. She took up writing because of him, and she basically became this hugely popular writer because she writes in the nude and she writes stream of consciousness. But
What?
Cran, what was wrong with what you had before that?
Making the letters.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think I'm gonna leave that one
that
there.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey Maxie, I've got two questions for you. One,
it's doubled. All right.
would that make a Triceratops extra horny?
Oh God.
And we lost a person.
Yes.
And the second question is, when you mentioned that, for some weird reason, it reminded me of Dino Riders
The Dino Riders.
Different
X
kind of
edition.
Dino Riders.
And that actually got me thinking: is it still cybernetic if it's just like a add-on, if you will, or does it have to be like integrated into your flesh or
Integrated
into
into your
your-
flesh to be a cyborg.
All right.
I remember the ones from Cyberpunk 2020.
Got,
The Mr.
Well-
Stud
got a little
implant and
speck
the
of
Midnight
blue
Lady.
there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is a problem.
Okay, so
Or you-
Google, Professor Google tells me that cybernetic enhancement is the use of cybernetics and technology to improve the functioning and performance of the human body. So basically,
That-
like a pacemaker or my glucose sensor that I've got plugged into my arm. Basically, anything that enhances the functions of the body.
I was going off of the old,
integrated into it.
the really old definition was any kind of cybernetically augmented organism, which usually indicated a implanted cybernetic augmentation of some sort.
Well, I mean, there's a gray area certainly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Means
Like
Max
the
is a-
difference between addition and augmentation. That's the
Max is a 1% cyborg, don't you, Max?
Yeah. Well, my father was a cyborg. He had a pacemaker.
Ah.
He'd be like, a what? A what now?
What this old thing you talking about?
Yeah.
Now here's
I
another
guess that
one.
makes people with.
So, like, we're on the same subject. So, you go first, Ricky.
Well, I was just going to say that, it's like, oh yeah, that's good right there, Kran.
There we go. Fix that.
Yeah, that somebody with artificial heart would be a cyborg.
Yep.
Now, what about inanimate enhancements? Because if you're in a car accident, for example, and you
Like
have
a replaced hip or something?
whether it's either replaced or reinforced, because like if you get your bones shattered, and you either have to actually get the entire thing grafted and then replaced, or if it's broken into so many pieces that you need screws to hold it in place.
That's probably into the gray area then. It could be under certain circumstances, or by the definitions, maybe not.
God, that's
Oh,
good,
speaking
Kran.
of that, did you know that they've developed a cybernetic arm with a sense of touch?
I heard they were working on it.
Oh,
Did they?
no.
Well, it's not actually, I think they've got two versions. One is actually a cybernetic where the guy actually has it, the mounting implanted into his arm and anchored to the bone.
Shite.
And they have another one that they're working with a woman who lost her arm in a car accident. And it's a attachable prosthetic, just like, the prosthetics now where you can put it on and suction will keep it there, as well as a harness. But both
Okay.
versions, I think, have a sense of touch now. They have a force feedback
Wow.
system in them.
That's cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we
And-
really will have an Alita Battle Angel in about
Yeah. And both of
500
them
years.
can be
Yeah.
controlled by mental impulse. So they can actually just think about what they want the arm to do, and it does it.
That is really too cool.
hmm Sadly, they're a little on the expensive side still, but
Yeah.
God, that's good, Kran.
All right. I think
Jesus.
we're about done here. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. There we go.
Yeah, only I hit the wrong buttons, Kran.
I always hit the wrong
Boy,
buttons.
look at that.
So now we need to.
God, that is good.
Where is it?
oh, and in case anybody's interested, there's actually a guy on YouTube. I can't remember what the name of his channel is, but he lost all of the fingers on one hand except for his thumb, I think it was. and he has been using a 3D printer to build himself his own prosthetic hand, and he's done some really interesting work with it.
What?
Holy crap.
Yeah, and without any kind of electronics or anything like that, using just muscle control, he's made a fully articulating hand for himself.
I'll be goddamn. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is this gonna? What's the size of this, Kran? Is this 8.5 by 11 or?
Oh,
what
I
is
don't know. It's just whatever.
it? Okay.
Imagine using
Okay.
that as promotional material for the Alita sequel. Oof. I was just saying, imagine using something like that to help, promote the Alita sequel
Mm-hmm.
when it gets announced on February 14th. Isn't that right, Maxie?
No, Maxie's got to go. He left a PM
Oh,
or private chat message thing.
something came up.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a wind up from his significant other, apparently.
Yeah.
Hey, Kran, is it just experience that you get all the, that you place the creases and folds of her bodysuit when you zoom in there?
What do you mean?
All the, like, the creases, folds, and scrunch up parts of the black bodysuit.
What about it? Sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
Is it just
Experience.
experience
Oh,
that
yeah.
you know, like, where and when? And
Yeah.
how?
Ideally, I would use a reference. But for now, this is simple chibi drawing. This is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is good, Kran. Yep. 27. Yes.
At least you don't put it in the reverse American order.
I don't know what I started doing that, but yeah, I'm the weirdo. Alrighty, I think we are good.
That's it. That's good, Kran. Save that sucker. and put it on a
save.
Yeah, put it on a backup too.
So we went from, let's delete this real quick. And then, not that. So we went from that to, where'd it go? That.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
That is
nice.
I will work on getting it on TeePublic soon, maybe tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Oh, there you. That took me what? Hold on. 3 hours.
Yeah. We started at 4. Yeah, about 3 hours. Yeah.
Well,
I'm getting faster.
Yeah, you are.
You did have a base to start with, though, didn't you?
That made a big difference. I can spend like up to 2 hours just on the sketch, so I think I'll have sketches done beforehand. Wrong way. Yep.
Yeah, those red eyes are
Red eyes are the best.
chef's kiss.
Yes, they are.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah.
All righty. All right. Well,
That
there you
is
guys
cool.
go.
There it is. Nice. Well, thanks, Kran. That's going to be cool. And I guess, now, you sure you want me to reimburse you for this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. As opposed to PayPal. So,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, thanks for letting me do this, guys, and bearing with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not a problem. It was enjoyable watching you do it. So. Did you notice how many times that we let me mute Lee here? You notice how many times we got silent
Yeah,
while you were doing this because we were watching you, So anyway,
That's like-
yeah,
Yeah, watch me
appreciate
like.
it a lot. Yeah, that's right. I
Keep
like
hitting
that
the-
little smirk she's got there.
I
you
love
know?
a smirk. Stop.
Yeah,
Keep hitting the rotate button. Okay, there we go.
yeah.
All right, saved again.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right.
So anyway, anybody that wants a commission, Cran's just looking for commissions all the time.
I will open back up at some
No.
point.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm just teasing on that.
Shut up.
Yeah, yeah, really. So anyway, there's Cran's Twitter handle, and of course you can find her on artstation.com. And you're still really on DeviantArt, but you don't do any of your professional stuff on DeviantArt.
It's just
do you?
another posting site.
Okay. All right, let me unmute Lee again now. I think maybe. No, I guess not. So anyway, yeah, thanks a lot there, Cran. And I guess, guys, did we miss anything?
No.
Did
we lose everyone?
Yeah. So anyway, there's our queen right there. Of course, you know, we all know what the Creek feels about Rosa. You know, she's number one on my list. You know, in terms of in terms of being an actress and stuff like that. You know, and as I say every week, it doesn't hurt that she's pretty. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lee, we're getting a lot of feedback or a lot of background noise on your mic.
Oh,
there.
sorry.
That's all right. So anyway, but yeah, it doesn't hurt that Rose is pretty. And I also want to give a kind of a shout out to my other two celebrity crushes, and that would be Elle Lamont and Jessie Fisher. You know, they are, they brought Screwhead to life. That's for sure. You know, I guess tomorrow, I guess we have we don't know what the topic's going to be on Radio Chaos. So, but we'll say it's to be announced. We'll say that, you know. So stay tuned on that. Now we'll start at the regular time. It'll start at 2:00 in the afternoon Mountain Time, which would be 4:00 Eastern Time and 9:00 p.m. GMT, I guess. So just kind of stay tuned. You'll see a new thumbnail pop up, and we'll have a topic like we do every week on Radio Chaos. Okay, now just to end things up here, certainly I want to thank Cran for coming on and drawing it. That was pretty cool. You know, I'm going to be happy with that one. Thanks to Lee for joining us. Also, we had some pretty good discussions about some of the fanfics we had and that kind of stuff. And Maxie for coming on and regaling us with some very good anime, one of which I'm going to check out, The Lusty Girlfriend. I'm going to check that guy out. So
we got all of us to sign
for
up
sure,
for a show.
yeah.
That's selling it, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So anyway, why is this image here? Well, that image is there because the Creek likes it, and he's running the stream. And as I say every week, to paraphrase Garushka, I'm only here for our girl and the Alita army. So, whoops. Talk about pressing the wrong button. So anyway, any
it's
last
rubbing off on
thoughts?
you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Well, Cran, I was pushing the wrong buttons long before you came on these streams.
Oh.
So, yeah, you should have seen the very first stream we did. I was pushing the wrong buttons all over the place. It was funny.
Oh, Lord.
So anyway, Cran, any last thoughts?
Apparently we all need to watch Domestic Girlfriend, and I need to learn not to rotate an image too many times and to work on the right layer.
That's right. And Lee, you got any final thoughts there?
I think I need to get more sleep because I have not gotten much lately. But other than that, nice work, KranberriJam. It's nice being on the stream.
You betcha.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I will read your fanfic as soon as I can.
Oh, well, I certainly look forward to hearing what you have to say about it.
Yes.
I mean, if it's got any problems, I definitely would like to know. If you enjoyed it, I also wouldn't mind knowing that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. So, yep. Angelus, any thoughts?
I'll keep this
Here now, don't.
short
Yeah. Stop.
and
Stop. Yeah.
just remind Gran that I'm in the queue.
I will open up when I'm not doing wait lists
Yeah.
anymore after this because it gets too hectic. So
Yeah.
commissions
Well,
will eventually open up.
as people saw today, there's an old saying, you can't rush perfection.
Mhm.
That's right.
Even though Cran does
That's
make it
right.
look so easy.
God, I mean, really.
You know how much I was
do that
practicing to
in-
be able to do this? Like how much I've been working trying to figure out this program?
You know, Cran, you should do this on your stream, on your YouTube channel more
well,
often.
I'm working
too.
on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Because that was enjoyable. That one you did was about 2 or 3 months ago, wasn't it? Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, there's a number
Yeah,
of
that was
artists
enjoyable.
that do the stream where they'll talk to their audience or maybe answer questions while they're doing, drawing and stuff like that.
Mhm. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set it up. I got too many things on my plate.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, you might get some more commissions, Cran. All right. Well, that is, I guess the last thing we have to do then is to do the call to action.
All right.
And there it is. You see it on the screen, and that would be on my count of 3, and that would be 1, 2, 3.
Build
Build
those sequels,
those
baby.
sequels, baby. All right, we'll see you next weekend on the Alita live stream, and we'll see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Ta-ta.
Bye. What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.